podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to episode 413 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by
Becky Foster. Hello, everyone.
And Matt Foster. Hello, everybody.
and now that our comic book correspondent has retired, Admiral Arthouse has been brought in to expand his horizons. He's never liked a comic book movie. None of them are black and white. None of them are subtitled. And none of them concern the travails of a donkey in Estonia. But we'll see how it goes. Who have we got this week?
Jordan McGrath. And saying that, I know this is a comic book movie, but there is a opera on this week, which more, I'd say, targets myself as an audience.
It's so we're delighted to be joined by his film, Her Movies, Jordan McGrath, obviously. Thank you, Jordan. And yeah, we got quite a mix this week, haven't we? So Jordan and I will be reviewing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, as Mark and Becky couldn't see it because otherwise their daughter wouldn't have got to work today. So well done, you two.
Yep, we succeeded at parenting for once. We've grown. Like in previous years, we'd have just been sat there, just going, "God, my watch is beeping an awful lot. Is yours during this movie?"
I mean, to be fair, that's not even an in previous years thing. That's an if she hadn't caught us before 3:30 thing.
Yeah.
Because we did completely forget.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, now. So, yeah, Jordan and I will talk Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Mark and Becky will catch up with their thoughts next week. We're also going to be talking about, it's the start of September, so you got a little bit of Oscar season stuff starting to trickle through. So we have got the Cannes Best Director winning Annette with Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard ensuring the film a fairly wide release, which is fair fucking play, but we shall get to Annette. And kind of straddling the both, I suppose, we have got a catch-up review of Nicolas Cage's You Think It's John Wick but with a pig, but it's not, Pig. And our latest Patron's choice. My choice won again last week. Let's not have that happen again next week. People will start talking. So we are going to be having a look at Cameron Crowe's second collaboration with Tom Cruise. I think it's probably fair to say, rather maligned Vanilla Sky. And we shall see how we all got on with that. We are a Pod Syndicate podcast. We are podsyndicate.com, where you can find written content and also the home of like-minded podcasts such as Entertainment Landfill, The Iron Sequel, His Film, Her Movie, Chinstroker vs. Punter, and The Rewatch Project. Patreon.com/Film Bastards. No Bastards Get Sparkly again this week. Frankly, I think if I asked Mark and Becky to review another film, they probably just wouldn't have been able to get up in the morning. So it's so hopefully next week. Also, Mark and I need to record our Casino Royale commentary at some point. Please, Mark, because I've got 4 Bond films that I need to cover before No Time to Die.
Yep. We'll get to that.
Great. The confidence of your answer is incredibly reassuring.
We'll get to
that. Fucking hell. Right. Okay. Oh dear. Right. So.
David fucking No Time to Die comes out. Me and Ian are literally going to record commentaries for every single one before.
Of what? Sorry.
We'll do all the Daniel Craig films back to back the day before.
Oh, fucking don't tempt me. I'd actually quite like to do that, but God, man, that would be starting on a high and ending on a low with some lows and highs in between. Like, that would be a fucking roller coaster.
It would be like when we promised to do when we promised to do all of the Nolan films for for our Nolan one, and actually, what was it, 4 in a week?
God damn, we did it though.
We fucking did do it.
I mean, to be fair, we were still in a pretty big state of lockdown at that point. Things were open, but you still couldn't really do much.
No.
So I think that gave us the space. Fucking hell. Right. So news. Thought it was interesting that Shang-Chi's opening in the US caused Sony to go, actually, do you know what? Venom probably should come out not the same weekend as Halloween Kills. How about the 1st of October in the US? Fuck it. Like, I'm half expecting them, like, next week to just turn around and go, do you know what? It's on iTunes on Friday.
I just turn and go, you've already seen it. What? Just there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the New Mutants turned out to be real. So maybe Venom Let There Be Carnage turns out to be real as well. No release date move in the UK, which is unsurprising because it would put it the same weekend as No Time to Die. But it's October is, like we were talking about last week, October is still a fucking minefield. And yeah, again, like what's out this week? Yes, okay, 2 Very Bastards films, Malignant and Cop Shop.
Yeah.
But you could really put a big film in this weekend and it would probably be fine. Yeah. So and next weekend, to be fair, it's really not until Bond comes out that it is a little bit like, all right, then I'd probably leave it a few weeks.
Yeah, that's it. There's a couple of like quite shy weeks, but then again, I'm good with that because it means Cop Shop is getting a full, quite wide release.
Yeah, exactly. Malignant's going to be interesting as well. I mean, as we speak, I don't think it's even screened for press yet. In the kind of like looking at Twitter that I've done, there are no UK press screenings. There is one in the US, which is basically Thursday night, and the embargo is essentially like after that's finished when it's already being played for previews in the US. So I don't know what that means. It's odd. But we'll see. Film's an 18, which is something these days. So it's probably going to be pretty full on. But yeah, Malignant, we'll talk about it. London Film Festival. So Becky and Mark, you might want to go to sleep for the next, I don't know, George, 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
So Jord and I and Lauren will be going to LFF, and it's a privilege. It's going to be fun. And yeah, Jord, what did I mean? I'll ask. Did the lineup surprise you at all, or like? Because to my mind, it was a little bit. It's kind of everything that's playing elsewhere, but with a like, I suppose like the big ooh. They got that had already come with like The Harder They Fall and The Tragedy of Macbeth. The rest of it felt to me a little bit like, okay, it's just everything that's been playing the festivals over the last couple of months. But what are your thoughts?
No, absolutely. And I think it doesn't really, it says that it has 27 premieres, but they are mostly the smaller films. And the thing is, it's the films that have played other places and got hype, which I'm excited about. Unfortunately, some of them are going to be where I'm not going to be there when there are, like stuff like Red Rocket and Spencer, and The Hand of God. Unfortunately, I won't be there for. I just missed them. But the stuff there, I've got the schedule up and there now. And
we're gonna go watch the film where the woman fucks the car, George.
We are. So there's Titan there. The Last Night in Soho. There's quite a few Netflix things. Like there's one which I'm quite interested to see called Cop Movie, which is actually coming to Netflix on the 5th of November, which is like a documentary hybrid about Mexican police, which really does look really, really interesting. We've both talked about the surprise film, what that could be. I have 2 ideas, one being Dune and the other being The Card Counter. I probably think it's going to be the latter, because Dune does come out very quickly after the festival. But other than that, yeah, it is much too much of everything that's been playing a lot of it actually in Venice, but that's what LFF is because it's the festival that's last on the docket. Well, not last, but so therefore it gets everybody's sloppy seconds, but otherwise, so some of these films won't be coming out until next year, which we get the privilege to see them early.
Yeah, I mean, I think having the world premiere of The Harder They Fall is a really cool get for them.
Yeah.
And is it the world premiere of The Tragedy of Macbeth, or is it the European premiere?
To be honest, I haven't heard that being played anywhere else, so it could be world. And being in film, I'd probably say it could be world, yeah.
If it's not playing TIFF, then it will be world. I think is probably fair to say. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not meaning to poo-poo it. I think it's a really, really strong lineup, but it's because, films have been delayed for a year, and you've got the ones that were meant to come out this year. So you do just have a really interesting load. I will say as well, I mentioned Rob Savage quite a lot on the show, and I'll be honest, it's because he was one of the reasons is because he was kind enough to actually come on the fucking show, and he's a good dude, so I want to support him. But Dashcam playing LFF is very cool. And they released the log line of that along with the LFF program, which I hadn't seen previously. And it's basically about a COVID denying right wing vlogger who meets Angela in speech marks. It's like, yep, I'll watch that for 78 minutes. Let's fucking go.
And a good little thing for Rob as well is that the last film of the festival, the last day of the festival is a bit of a hodgepodge of all films from across the festival. Like, for example, you do get certain days which have certain films on. So the last day, I would say, to try and get the best films and show everything. He's included on that last day. Dashcam's playing at 6 o'clock in South Bank NFT 1. So that's a really premier screen at a prime time. And he's it's going to be there. So fingers crossed, that just means something to the quality.
Yeah, I'm fucking gutted that I won't be there for any of those showings. Really annoyed actually, but it is what it is. It's the luck of the draw, isn't it?
Regarding what's going to be available online for press, that could be one of those which I think could be available, but we have no idea at this point.
Yeah, I've got a worry that it's going to turn back to how the online screenings were before last year. So for context, last year it was essentially this film that it was almost like a press screening schedule but at home. So you'd have these films showing at these times, and you'd have a 2-hour window to start it or something like that.
Anybody there?
Oh, yeah, I can still hear you, Jordan. Jordan? Mark, Bex, you still there?
Yeah, still here.
Okay. Jordan? Just heard something fun.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you back?
Oh, so I'm back now, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what happened there.
It's all good.
Last year it was something you had to start it between 11 and 1, didn't you? And if you started between then, you could just finish watching it within a 2-hour period, couldn't you?
Yeah. Which was just fucking brilliant, but it goes to this whole thing that we were talking about, I think, last week as well, about people kicking off about screeners not really being available and people being asked to go to the cinema. The distributors want you to go to the fucking cinema to see the films, because a lot of the time, a film improves if you see it with a crowd, and there's a buzz and things like that, and I get that. But after it does just feel like 2020 was not a treat of a year, but the way they did that with LFF last year was a little bit have a treat because it's COVID. It feels like the online screening library is going to be a lot less dense this year.
I do find quite amusing one of the films I was really looking forward to from LFF last year is a film that has now been available to watch like freely. You can just watch it now for like well over 6-7 months, and I still haven't watched it.
What was it?
Supernova. Supernova.
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't seen Supernova yet either.
I haven't seen Supernova, and the thing is, I bet it's really quite good. But it was like a hot fucking film at LFF, and then literally when LFF finished, just nobody spoke about it again.
No, but like it came out in the cinemas over the summer, and it just seemed to come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of there, we just need joy phase. Yeah.
I do think there's an element of that to it. It's the reason why I've not sat down to watch it. I think it looks very good, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a. Well, I'm not going to have a fun 106 minutes here, am I?
No.
It looks like it's just going to be a little bit just. Oh, well, this is grim.
It's dementia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dementia.
Yeah.
Right now.
And as well, when it's two actors that are both very, very good at conveying, levels of emotion in Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But also, as much as I'm looking forward to the films, like one of the nights, Jord, I will be getting shit-faced with you and Lauren, and well, you can be in the room and I'll get shit-faced if you don't want to drink. But
no, I will definitely be drinking. It's going to be good just to have that social aspect back in. I think it's my first London Film Festival since 2013.
Wow.
Because there was a whole controversy in 2014 where I didn't get accreditation because we just because of the magazine and it was kind of new. And then I don't think I've been back. So I think that was the year where Whiplash was there and Xavier Dolan's mother and things like that. And yes, it's been a good long while since I've been to a festival. I cannot wait. Wait.
That's crazy. And just seeing Dan Orty in the flesh again. That's been a while. Really fucking looking forward to seeing Dan and hopefully catch up with Andrew and hopefully and yeah, I mean it'll be a laugh. But in terms of the films, Titan, however I need to see the woman fuck a car. The Power of the Dog. I'm looking forward to see it and seeing that on a big screen. I think will be really good. I might get a ticket for Anna Lily Amirpour's new film, Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Which Kate Hudson's getting some good word for that. So I am very interested in that. I think I might try and get a ticket for the surprise film, just on because if it's June or the card counter, Oscar Isaac might turn up and I can rape him.
I do think it's going to be card counter.
Yeah, for me,
it feels like
it feels like yeah. It's regarding timings and the fact that it's just played Venice. Dune, I think also you got to be thinking about timings. The surprise film starts at 9:30. Dune is a 2-hour 40-minute movie. They aren't going to be having people like getting out of the Royal, whatever it is, at 12 o'clock at night. They just aren't.
On a weekday as well, yeah.
On a weekday, on a Monday night.
I think the card counter is about 40 minutes shorter.
Yeah, you're getting out of the cinema 11:30. That's going to be a lot more agreeable, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, that's LFF. I mean, Jordan, are there any? So last night in Soho, do you think you're actually going to be able to get to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's there on the Sunday morning. So therefore, I am there on the Sunday morning. So it's 11:15 showing. So I think I'll be definitely getting a ticket for that. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think the second trailer's just gone up today, and looks good.
That's a segue. That's a good segue. Should we talk trailers?
Yeah, let's go.
So yeah, second trailer for last night in Soho. I will be honest, not as vibing with it as I was the first.
I kind of liked it. I liked it regarding we got a bit more of what the plot's going to be involving, and I'm just looking forward to a new Edgar Wright movie. I know it's very, very simple and very reductive, but yeah, I just want to see an Edgar Wright horror movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did like with this trailer. It seemed so. I mean, God, if people don't want spoilers from the trailer, I don't know. Fast forward a little bit, but it just. I really, really hope it's not as obvious as Terrence Stamp is old Matt Smith. Like, I need it to be, and maybe that's not even going to be a twist in the film, but I don't know. I'm not particularly feeling that, and yeah, and also Thomasin McKenzie. I don't know. There was something about her voice in it that just felt very artificial and felt like it's going to bother me. But that's maybe just a me problem. But yeah, I mean, I'm also looking forward to an Edgar Wright horror movie, but I like that bit in the first trailer where like the hands start coming out and then the way it's like her reflection of her eyes and then the glass cracks. That was such a cool Argento-y kind of moment, and this trailer made it kind of seem like it's going to be not quite as full-blooded as that. But I don't know. We'll see. Mark, Bex, did you manage to watch this? It did only come out a few hours back, so no worries if you didn't.
To be fair, I'm so hard in for this movie already that I don't really want to see any more until I see it. So
yeah, I'm with you on that, but for different reasons. In the fact that I am a little bit up and down with Edgar Wright movies, but at the moment I'm sold on Last Night in Soho. I don't want to watch something that might.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I don't want to watch something that might make me go. You see, you
yeah,
had me. And now you lost me a little bit. I'd prefer to go in now, knowing a little bit less, because the problem is this movie has a lot of things already that could have me going against it.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, because I think he's a little bit of a charisma vacuum in comparison to what other people seem to think that he is. I think Matt Smith is very much somebody
You just don't like Doctor Who.
It's not even Doctor Who. I just think Matt Smith a little bit. If Matt Smith was as charismatic as Matt Smith thinks he is, then Jesus Christ.
No, I think a little bit though. His kind of failed foray into Hollywood has maybe bumped him back down to earth a little bit. But then it's not quite panned out.
In that what's it one that we watched? I can't remember what it's called. About the refugees that come over. His House.
Yes.
He's very good in that.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's post bump.
Yeah, probably.
He went over there thinking he was going to be real hot shit because, like, oh my God, I'm Doctor Who and everyone loves me in Britain, so everyone will love me in America, and it didn't quite track.
He's in Morbius, baby. Let's get ready.
Again, Morbius is another film that feels like it was like they finished shooting it a long, long time ago.
Yeah. I
will guarantee you, absolutely fucking guarantee that Jared Leto has smoked enough peyote to forget that he's in Morbius.
Yeah, 100%. He'll be doing press for it, and he's like, I don't quite understand why I'm here. What is Morbius?
Yeah, it's be there going, I'm in this.
He's also in the very underrated, very underrated and nearly forgotten Lost River.
Yeah, he is.
It's great. It's Lost River.
And he's actually quite good in Lost River.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Watched that not so long back actually.
Yeah, Lost River's a good film.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Edgar Wright tweeting the trailer said, you know, if you're already sold on Last Night in Soho, great. Here's another trailer if you want to know a bit more and whatnot. And it almost felt like he was saying, probably didn't watch this trailer actually, and I kind of wish I took the advice. But we'll see. I thought it was interesting. The reactions out of Venice seemed to be decidedly 4-star or 2-star.
Yeah, there was as many people saying that it was let down by its obvious soundtrack and juvenile jokes as there was people talking about how great the soundtrack was and how the jokes added levity into the film.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit. I'll be honest, I was a little bit relieved because in terms of the reviews, because like the first things that played at Venice, people seemed to be falling over themselves to give 5 stars all over the place, and like Dune reviewed really well, a couple of exceptions, but reviewed really well, and it was kind of nice to have. All right, fine, set your expectations. It's probably not one of the year's great films, so now I can settle down and enjoy a solid 4 out of 5. That's kind of where I am with Last Night in Soho. If it's anything less than a 4, I'll be disappointed. If it's anything more than a 4, that'll be great.
I am going to be very happy with a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. As long as I like it more than Baby Driver. Like, if I don't like it as much as Baby Driver, then maybe I've fallen out of sync with Edgar Wright. But we'll see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I wish I didn't watch this trailer.
I really like Baby Driver.
I like Baby Driver, actually, yeah.
I need to rewatch it because, like, I've, obviously since then, Lily James has become a massive factor in my life. So,
so it might get a Lily James bump.
I think it will get the Lily James bump, and I think the Ansel Elgort detraction was already there before he was revealed to be a whatever he is. Not going to say in case of slander, but
I think it is currently he's just a creep.
Okay, but yeah, still, I didn't like him before everybody else didn't like him. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the trailer for Mike Mills's new film, Come On, Come On, where Joaquin Phoenix takes on the bravest role of his career, a normal dad. It looks all right. I don't know. We'll see. I like Mike Mills, so I'll watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Just Joaquin Phoenix is a dad.
It's a trailer for it. You're watching it going, this looks very pretty. It looks very good. But it also does look like it could end up being a commercial for
life insurance.
Like AXA.
Yeah.
Oh, wowee.
It does just have that kind of vibe. I'm watching it going, so essentially it's a poem about fatherhood over some very, very pretty images for a movie that I'm hoping is a bit more fun than what this makes it look like, or a little bit more dramatic than what this makes it look like, other than just a week in the life of a dad and his son.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the whole parenthood thing. I don't know whether I'm there for this. Counting down the days till Isabel turns 18, so yeah.
It's one of those films that it doesn't really need a trailer. It's like you think about trailers as these big marketing tools. It's like it's a Mike Mills movie. How do you make something to get people amped to see a Mike Mills movie? I like the guy. I'll go watch it, but I don't need to see a trailer for it.
Yeah, the trailer gives you nothing. That's the problem.
Oh God, he did Thumbsucker, didn't he? I hated Thumbsucker.
I quite like Thumbsucker.
Beginners is incredible, though.
Yeah, Beginnings
is very, very good, yeah.
I'm not saying that one.
He did 20th Century Women was his last one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, which was good. That's fucking good, is 20th Century Women.
20th Century Women is good, yeah.
So, yeah, we shall see. Talking of black and white films that are kind of like this kind of time of year stuff, Belfast. This looks like you think it's going to be poverty porn, but it's not. It looks like it's going to be fun and it's going to have some drama in it, and it looks like Jamie Dornan is going to do good, and it just looks like a good film and good on Kenneth Branagh.
Yep, I fucking love the trailer for this. It like you say, at the start you're going, oh God, Branagh's doing Ken Loach, this ain't going to be good. And then you realise, oh no, Branagh's just going to go, hey look, Belfast, looks neat, doesn't it? And you go, yeah, it does. And you brought Jamie Dornan along for the ride.
Jamie Dornan's pretty.
Yep. Future best song Oscar winner Jamie Dornan.
Just while we're on this, someone raised this question on Twitter the other day, and I appreciate it's because actually I think it was you that replied about Army Hammer eating people, but is Death on the Nile just shelved now?
Yes.
But I want it.
Until they realise what they need to do with the hammer blow, then it's shelved.
Just do like what they did with that Kevin Spacey movie. I really
thought
want
they said
Death on the Nile.
I thought they said it was going to be February.
Oh, it's ages away.
They did move to February, yeah, but then it seems to have disappeared from like the schedules.
I need a big budget Christie movie in my life.
It did. Yeah, I mean, like, God, I just said it did. What is going on with my brain? So last year when the cinemas were kind of back open again before the big old Christmas lockdown, I swear to God, Death on the Nile trailed before every single fucking film I saw.
Yeah.
And now I don't think I've seen that trailer once. Like, I miss that trailer now, and I couldn't have said that before, but I miss it now. That Emma McKay girl, I'd like to see her in a few shots of a trailer, please. That would be great.
It's almost like they're hoping that people will just forget about it.
They must have spent money, like a lot of money on it. It looks expensive.
It does, yeah.
They won't digitally replace Army Hammer. He will be nowhere to be seen in like the press tour and whatnot, and they will not talk about him.
Yeah, it will be that.
Like, I bet God. I mean, I don't know the story of Death on the Nile. If anybody does his character look like they will be a major presence in the story? Does anybody know?
Fairly, not the major character, but fairly significant, I believe, isn't it, Bex?
I think they're all ensembles, aren't they? So that's the problem.
But is he's not like the one who gets murdered or anything, is he not?
Do you know what? I can't remember. It's ages since I read it.
So, like, I imagine it would be a lot less of a problem if he's like the Johnny Depp in Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, because they got away with that one, didn't they? Johnny Depp was problematic when that came out, wasn't he?
Yeah, those two movies.
So what we're saying is these movies are cursed.
What we're saying is
they're not quite Ian cursing Bond cursed,
but they're closer to me and Ian cursing Tenet.
Yeah. God, who's the next one then? Who's looking like they're going to be cancelled next? That's a fun question, isn't it?
It's a very 2021 question.
Who's going to be cancelled next?
Like, who could be the male lead in the next Poirot film who will then be cancelled? So you're probably thinking like a year or two's time. I'm going to go with Jacob Tremblay.
Jacob Tremblay's been sending dick pics to his fellow co-stars.
It will be revealed that he's been sending dick pics to his mum, and his mum has been loving it. That's what's going to happen.
Ed Skrein.
Yeah, he looks like he's crying for something coming out about him in the future and getting cancelled. He looks like a wrong one.
I reckon he's more the Henry Cavill thing, and what's about to come out is just that he's actually quite a nice guy, and like he grows orchids or some shit like that. Just something really fucking dull. Like when
Chelsea Flower Show patron.
Yeah. Cavill's a gamer, like a hardcore gamer, and he shocked the world by building a gaming machine last year on what is it? There's going to be somebody, isn't there?
Do you know who it could be? And I'm just spitballing. And it's just because of history of being like the biggest star and a revolving door of supermodels. It could be somebody like Leo.
I think he's too big. I think he's too beyond it.
I reckon he's got all those bitches on NDAs.
Because I guarantee you that literally the minute one of the girls actually is sort of ushered out of the door, someone stops them and goes, "Ooh, by the way, would you sign this?" And then when they say no, if they say no, it's like, okay, should we throw out of a window on this floor or the next floor?
Right, so Mark,
it's one of those. It's like how is not something not came out yet? Because it's. I mean, I think the guy is extremely talented. He's one of the best out there. But yeah, it's like how has something not came out so far?
Also, as well, what I will say there is, I don't think there's a single one of those supermodels that didn't want to fuck him.
Well, no, true.
So it's going to be somebody who is kind of like on the fucking fringes of that, but not quite at that level. Like, you're surprised that somebody like fucking like a Stephen Dorff hasn't fucking, what is it? But it's probably because he's not still as active as he used to be.
Mm.
Well, and Leo comes up in another trailer, so that could be a good segue.
Oh,
yeah.
Fucking hell, George. Yes, mate. Let's go.
Park, innit?
Oh, blimey, Charlie. Right, so yeah, kind of a teaser thing for Don't Look Up, the new Adam McKay film. The fact that they mentioned Step Brothers and Anchorman in the trailer, it makes me have some hope that maybe this will be silly, but I am a little bit worried that is just to try and maybe draw in like a average non-massive film fan Netflix viewer.
McKay has said the opposite.
I think this is going to be a comedy. I expected this to be serious from that trailer and from DiCaprio's performance. This is going to be a comedy, and I did not expect that one bit. I was slightly interested by it because it's DiCaprio and Lawrence, but now I am superly excited for it because it could be just something so off the cuff and way more entertaining than it could be.
McKay said it is closer to something like Anchorman, but set in the like the world of Vice and what's it?
I mean, to maybe thinking about it, to back that up, the fact that it is on Netflix on Christmas Eve makes me think that it's not going to be a hard. It's not going to be another Vice.
No, and I think DiCaprio got involved in it because of his friendship with Jonah Hill, and because DiCaprio said that he wanted to do a little bit more comedy stuff.
Thing is, he's got a fucking Oscar now. He's probably got more money than God. You know, he can have women, according to according to Mark, murdered for merely shagging him and refusing to sign an NDA.
Is that what you said about Leonardo DiCaprio while I was out of the room?
No, I said that if they refused to sign an NDA, then he would have people who might throw them out of a higher window.
So I go baste a chicken, and you're accusing Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is that euphemism, Bex?
You're talking about Leo, you go baste the chicken. Okay, that's what we're calling it nowadays.
It was a literal chicken, an actual roast chicken. No euphemism. And then you're just slandering people.
I wasn't slandering him.
Sounds like
You kind of were.
No, you were slandering him because you were telling the truth, weren't you, mate? I was giving him mad props.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, I'm feeling like we're in for an all-timer this week. I've got to say, fuck me. Yeah. No, I mean that's great, and I mean the cast is good, and I'm hoping that when they say in theaters, they December 10th, they also mean in cinemas. I'd like to see this in the cinema, but if I can't, and if it is Netflix on Christmas Eve, you can bet your fucking ass that I'm going to be watching this on Christmas Eve with some beers and hopefully laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
We'll watch it on our outdoor TV in the hot tub.
Might do.
What, on Christmas Eve?
Possibly.
Why not?
Why not?
Living life right. Talking to Netflix, the trailer for Red Notice.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to Red Notice. It does look like The Rock and Ryan Reynolds are almost just doing like, what is our minimum viable product at this point, and just like going for that.
Yeah.
It looks flashy. It's got some good jokes in it. I think Ryan Reynolds calling what The Rock was wearing a statement piece was great. But it just, I don't know. It feels like it's going to be 2 hours, 20 minutes, and you're probably going to go out of it saying, okay, that's another solid bit of money made for The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, and they've managed to promote some of their stuff, and let's move on. I'm looking forward to it in the way that I'm looking forward to just like a 7 out of 10, and it's just like I'm a little is this just kind of what we expect from them now? And I do kind of like that more from Ryan Reynolds than The Rock, but I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think one of their films will ever surprise me ever again, I think is maybe the way I'm going to put it.
I think it feels like a film that's been, and again, it's Netflix, so I don't mean to make a comparison, but maybe I do. It's a film that's written by an algorithm.
Yeah, straight up.
An Excel spreadsheet of, okay, we like these people, we'll put them in a movie. They normally star in these and they do well. We'll have an action piece every so many pages. It's screenwriting 101 for quote unquote a blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
And the trailer was fine. Ryan Reynolds, I don't know if it was just Free Guy, and I used to be the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan, but in that movie, I was a bit, am I bored of him now? And I maybe like to see him do something a bit different. Maybe go down a bit more of a dramatic avenue. But yeah, I don't think it's ever going to surprise anybody, because I think you'll be able to tell what's coming 5 minutes before it actually happens, because that's what those movies kind of do. I'll watch it first. Yeah.
The problem is, the thing is with Red Note, if you already know there's going to be a lot of a lot of sweeping aerial shots, and then it's saying like across like clouds or across like the water, saying like Miami, Shanghai, and things like that. It's going to have at least 7 different locations across the globe.
I just need to have a really long break from The Rock. I don't think I'll watch this.
Yeah. I think as well, it's just the fact that it feels a bit anonymous, because even if you're going to make a blockbuster like Netflix has done in the past, with Ryan Reynolds, I've actually forgot, is it 6 buildings or 6 underground? That at least had Michael Bay doing it, so therefore it was a bit something else. Yeah, the film wasn't great, but at least you had a bit of style to it, where this is just one of the guys that The Rock works with on his lesser blockbusters.
The mad thing is, with 6 Underground, if that was released in the cinema, I'd have seen it by now. But it's not. It's on Netflix and I still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of 600 Rounds great.
Partially because everybody says that. Like the opening half hour is brilliant, and then there's 2 hours more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
There's another Netflix movie trailer that came out.
Oh fuck, you've lost me.
The Guilty, the new Anton Fuqua one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
The original of which.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've almost watched the original so many times. Now I might have to.
The original I actually watched as part of LFF a couple years back, and is good. Good movie. This so judging by the stills, I haven't seen this trailer. I saw the very, very short teaser trailer. It basically seems like it's probably going to be the same film. Can I ask, in the trailer, are there any scenes that are not Jake Gyllenhaal in that call center?
Nope.
No. Okay. I imagine that will probably be the case for this film.
It pretty much is in the credits towards when it brings up the credits at the end. The only actor listed is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Like, he speaks to people on the phone, obviously, but like not just the woman. But yeah, mate, no, I think there are other people in it, but it probably won't be any major people. But how is this trailer? Does it actually look like a film you want to watch? Because based on the original, I want to watch it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Cool.
Yeah, you've got different voices, but from what I understand, it is literally the only person you see in the film is, with the exception of like a few people in the background, is Jake Gyllenhaal. But then you've also got voices: Paul Dano, Ethan Hawke, Riley Keough, Peter Sarsgaard, Bill Burr. Who else you got in there? And just a bunch of other people. But yeah, it does. From what I understand, it is literally just Jake Gyllenhaal in a call center.
Is it Fuqua directing it?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Fascinating, that.
Yeah.
Fucking weird career he's had.
Rewritten by the guy who writes True Detective.
Nick fucking
Pizzolatto.
Pizzolatto. Yeah. Yeah, and this is early October, isn't it?
Yeah, October 1st, I believe.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, 1st October.
Cool, great. I feel like the Many Saints of Newark new trailer for that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I have limited experience with The Sopranos, but I'll watch a gangster tale that I hope doesn't go over my head too much for 2.5 hours. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would like to say that I will try and watch all The Sopranos before it, but I won't.
I think it comes out in mid-October, doesn't it? So you have to get started right now.
Yeah, we started, didn't we? And we watched the first episode, and I enjoyed it. But that was like 3 months ago, and we've not watched an episode since.
That's on you.
Yeah, because I look at it and go, I mean, I've got this far without watching The Sopranos.
Yeah, but then there's a new film coming out.
But I don't want to do like hundreds of hours of research.
Yeah, but you'd enjoy it along the way.
I'd enjoy it on the way, but I just don't want to.
Your anti-TV thing's fucking weird.
No, because I don't want to. That's it. I just don't want to.
I mean, I fully concur with the I don't want to.
Yeah. It's that's my thing. I get the feeling there's certain things that would have just benefited from watching it at the time and watching it on a week by week basis.
Yeah, but you didn't want to.
No, I didn't. So what the fuck has changed now? I had my chance Sopranos and I didn't.
And last one for this week, I think.
Yeah.
The moon is fucked up with us, guys.
Oh, God.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
I thought this was a parody. I genuinely thought this was a parody. When I clicked play, I thought it was a Funny or Die bit or something.
Honestly, when I saw there's a trailer for a new Roland Emmerich film and it was called Moonfall, I thought, please be about the moon falling on Earth, and then it was, and I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we never got Moon Has Fallen, but yeah, it does.
I can already picture the scene of just Gerard Butler there looking like he's got the moon on his shoulders. He's standing in Alaska. There's like a centimeter between the two, and he just pushes it back into space.
Yeets it back into space.
I mean, you look at it and just go, that looks thick as shit. Like it's Geostorm, just. I'm not denigrating it. That looks thick as shit is probably more my kind of reaction. Can't wait. Let's go.
Yeah.
Why not?
I genuinely, not even taking the piss, one of my most anticipated movies that's coming up. Because I know that I'm going to stroll in there in the same fucking frame of mind that I went into fucking Day After Tomorrow and fucking 2012, going, this is going to be big and fucking dumb, and I'm gonna love every fucking second of it, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's talk Shang-Chi. Get it done, and then Mark and Becky can contribute again. So, this is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, stars Simu Liu, Aquafina, I can never remember, Tony Leung. God, there is a cast member in it that is actually a bit of a spoiler. Mark, does Becky know the person who's in it?
Do you know the person who's in it, or do you care?
It's fine, you can spoiler it.
Yep, I'm the same.
Yeah, okay. Ben Kingsley, Menga Zhang, and Michelle Yeoh. So, this is the first kind of like the first original character MCU film in a fucking, well, since Captain Marvel, basically, or at least original to these films. And it concerns.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's been a while. And it's basically about Shang-Chi, played by Simu Liu, who runs away from home when he is basically escaping the clutches of his dad, played by Tony Leung's empire, the Ten Rings. He has befriended Katie, played by Awkwafina, but the past kind of catches up with them on a bus, and they go on a kind of like journey to see what the fuck's going on with his dad. Why is his dad like trying to get these pendant things? And it goes on from there, really. So, Jord, in all seriousness, like you do like your comic book movies and whatnot, but this one had an air of, at times, kind of like, well, it had some like wuxia kind of elements going to it, or wuxia, or however you pronounce it, Wuxia.
Yeah.
So, did that get your art house boner tingling at all, or was it just, well, that's nice that they're there, but it was there, but it was more lip service? Like, how do you think that was kind of like integrated into the film as a whole?
From the trailer, it looked like there was going to be more, which I was sad that there wasn't. But that is, I think, the takeaway from this movie. From the very first shot in a fight/action sequence, it is so instantly recognizable that this feels different. And that, for me, was the breath of fresh air. It was the fact that the fight scenes, it wasn't fast cutting. There was lots of swooping cameras. There was lots of nice shots. They felt totally different. And we don't want to say new because we've seen them in different movies, but for Marvel, it was new. And that's where I got my fun out of this movie, is just the way that Destin Cretton actually did that. Now, I'm not sure if he actually did direct the action, or if he got an action director in there for him, but it felt great. I mean, there's a sequence in Tokyo, I believe, where him and another character, Shang-Chi and another character, are backlit by some neon, and it felt very Skyfall in that. But I did enjoy this movie, and I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a new toy, and I don't know much about Shang-Chi and that character and the Ten Rings and etc. But it felt fresh. It felt good to be going to different parts of the world and these different cultures and the different styles of filmmaking on show. And the fact that he has Tony Leung in it is my biggest thing. The fact that we've just seen Tony Leung not only in an English language movie, because it is properly first, it's in a goddamn Marvel movie. Who could have seen that coming like 5 years ago?
Yeah, quite. It's I think that's interesting, the whole kind of like, is it kind of new toys that you're playing with thing, and I get that, and I think the one of the strongest aspects of the film, along with the fight scenes, and just to say, the bus fight, is honestly one of the best action scenes I've seen in a Hollywood film in a while. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it still looks quite green screeny and whatnot. It hasn't got the kind of verisimilitude. How do you say that? Yeah, that of Tenet, say. But it does look like these guys doing these fucking stunts, and they are impressive. Like, the things around them aren't necessarily real, but the movements they're doing are, and they're cracking. Like, there's one where Simu Liu literally swings up, like, goes through a railing that you hang onto on like the top of a bus.
Yeah.
And then just like fully goes into that and then just like kicks someone. And it was just like, fucking hell, you know. And it's like, I don't remember a Marvel film where you're looking at the action and going, fucking hell. But I did that a few times in that sequence alone.
It's by far the best fight sequence in a Marvel movie by somewhere. The way it's shot, but the actual action, and it might just be the fact that at that point they aren't superheroes. It's just a good fight scene.
Straight up, it's hand-to-hand stuff, you know, and it's God. I mean, there was even one shot from like outside the bus, and it's kind of like looking at what's going on in the bus that had did make me feel like, are they fucking referencing Old Boy here? You know, and that was cool. That is interesting shit that you don't usually think about or say while watching an MCU film. And I like my MCU films, but you know, you put the action in this against Black Widow, and there's no fucking comparison. Like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I think a slight criticism of the film is, for me, that is the best action sequence, like you said, George, of the MCU, and it happens about 20 minutes into a 2-hour, 10-minute film. So, you know, but also Simu Liu and Awkwafina are really, really good together. You don't like, it's not really love interest stuff, you know. Like, I think they maybe slightly leave the door open for that, maybe, but at the same time, they certainly don't have to do that. They're friends. And she proves herself weirdly capable of getting involved in the action later on as well. In a much more kind of like standoffish way than Shang-Chi. But I thought that was cool that Awkwafina is like a character in an MCU film that can handle herself. Would you have said that 5 years ago? You know, like that woman who's like the really interesting kind of comic relief in Crazy Rich Asians and Ocean's 8. She's going to be like a pretty pivotal character in an MCU film, and it kind of seems like she's going to be in them going forward, which is great. But yeah, sorry, go on, John.
No, for me, it's just the fact that, see, I didn't mind Black Widow. I quite liked the dynamic between Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, but looking at Black Widow and this in comparison, this just has way more bags of personality. It feels like a good time when you're watching it. You're like, I have to really try and get in my head to say her name now, Awkwafina. I keep on saying Akinfenwa, and that isn't the same person.
Yeah, they're definitely not the same person there, John. They're very different.
But yeah, the dynamic, because she does start off as the comic relief, but her arc in it gets a little bit more serious as the story gets a bit more serious. Like, she isn't always there, just wisecracking jokes. It always feels organic when she's there doing that. But yeah, I love being on the journey. I love finding out this character, the dynamic between the family, the whole mythical angle of it all. But yeah, it's even like the 10 rings themselves. I love the physics of it. I love how they worked. I love how they were used. It was just something different, and I will go back to like that new toys things. I don't know if it's just that and the fact that we're getting into a place where Marvel is going full sci-fi and full fantasy. It's going down into a place where it's built up such a brand recognition and people love these movies that it's pushing the boat out without people really realizing that they are doing so. Like, they started with cards close to the chest with like real life stories, and then they've got a little bit more out there and a little bit more out there, where I don't think the general audience actually understands what they're doing, because this one does go, and I said I saw it, but full on fantasy. And it's like, if you started off with a film like this within like the MCU, it would get panned for being too over the top or too fantasy, where people just want to eat it up with a spoon now. And I think it's Marvel being good salesmen and good researchers and being able to measure their own story, but also give the audience what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a perfect film. Like I say, I think the real heart racing stuff is 20 minutes in, but there's enough story there and humor there to get you through the rest of the way. I like the third act when it's just they're on a dragon and they're fighting another dragon. I check out, if I'm honest.
Does it fall into the trap of a lot of the Marvel movies of the last act just becoming a CGI thing smashing into things?
Yeah, I think it maybe, because we were talking on WhatsApp about this and thinking about it, I think it's maybe not quite as much as I was saying, because there are a lot of people in this battle, but it is literally dragon versus dragon for a bit of it. And it's I don't care about this, because what I care about, there's something, because I don't want to spoil it too much because you guys haven't seen it, but there is something that happens maybe about 15 minutes before the end of the 10 minutes before the end of this particular battle, which feels like that is the end of the emotional arc of the film. Do you know what I'm talking about, George? Yeah. And for me there, after that, I'm kind of don't care what happens in this battle after this point.
I think it's the one thing that got me regarding that, and I mean, you've mentioned this, so I didn't really want to spoil it, but the fact that, yes, it does go into a CGI fest, if you will, but this isn't, and not to criticize the film, but this isn't Spider-Man fighting Michael Keaton and getting thrown into buildings like in New York City. This is two dragons fighting, and we're talking about two dragons fighting in a Marvel movie, and that for me gets me enough through of just how fantasy it goes. It is just, I didn't expect to go in there, but I did expect to go and see dragons. It was in the trailer, but you know what I mean. It's something totally new, and there's these soul-sucking wing demons, and where are these stories going now? Because are we now going to see Spider-Man fighting these winged demons or some variations of those? Are we going to get fantasy elements bleeding into New York City and things like that, where now we can go? It knows no bounds. We're dealing with multiverses, and we're dealing with fantastical creatures. It's bonkers to see where this entire thing started with Iron Man in a Humvee getting blown up. It's totally fresh.
Yeah. I think that's in terms of the context of the MCU. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe we've said our piece on Shang-Chi. It's for me as solid a 4 out of 5 as you're ever going to get. Definitely not shit. Looking forward to taking a look at it again. You know.
Simu Louis is superb in the lead as well.
He's great.
He has charisma. So the chemistry with him and Awkwafina is superb. Even the chemistry that he has with his sister character, I get that as well. It's just, it's one of those. It has great action, it has great visuals, it's got an interesting story that takes it into places where I didn't really expect. What more could I want from a Marvel movie?
Sorry, I think the girls might have just got home. The dogs go. Just to say as well before we move on, Benedict Wong
Yes.
it's fast becoming one of the great supporting characters in the MCU.
Yeah,
Because he's fucking brilliant at exposition, and he's fucking funny.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So he's in this then?
Briefly.
Because he's always great when he pops up in the MCU films. He just adds such a charm to them.
Like, he's this guy who's like super, super serious, but also, and like the character, but also doesn't mind fucking about. Yeah. And it's like, the mid credits is fucking perfect because it's this blend of, here's what's coming in the future, but also just a very, very fun bit with him. I really like the fact that he's going to be in No Way Home. He's obviously going to be in Doctor Strange too. Like, Benedict Wong must be like, well, they signed me up to this 10-film contract and I didn't think they were actually going to pull the trigger on it. This is great. He's a guy who's like been active for fucking ages. Obviously he's in My Beloved Sunshine, and now he is going to be getting like residual checks for the rest of his fucking life for just having fun as a side character in these MCU films, who then also is side enough that he doesn't necessarily need to get involved with the press tour shit. Unless he's like, yeah, fuck it, go on then, that'll be fun. I'll do a bloody Wired autocomplete interview. Why not? Like that. Fuck it, that's got to be like the fucking dream Venn diagram shit for an actor. And Benedict Wong is fucking doing it. All power to the guy. Definitely not shit.
Yeah, definitely not shit for me.
How was the poll, Mark?
The poll was definitely not shit, 67%, touching cloth 22%, and shit 11%. So yeah, overwhelmingly, I would say people have been quite positive about
it. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Right, so let's bring Mark and Bex back into the room. Let's talk Annette, directed by Leos Carax and starring Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and Simon Helberg. Annette is the story of a comedian, kind of like a provocateur comedian played by Adam Driver, and an opera singer played by Marion Cotillard, who fall in love, and they have a baby Annette, who is a puppet, not in the film. At least I don't think she is in the context of the film, but she's presented as, well, no, she definitely isn't, presented as a puppet, and she's got a very nice voice, like her mother. So, Becky, Annette, I am fucking fascinated to see what you made of Annette. Do you think it was long enough?
I think it probably was just about long enough, yeah. Get everything in there that it needed to, all that repetition of the lines in the songs and stuff like that. You really needed those lines repeated at least 20 times. So, yeah, if they'd made it shorter, they wouldn't have got that level of repetition in there.
Mark.
Hello.
Did you think it was long enough?
I mean, I think it's almost become a catchphrase. I think the majority of movies are too long, and that is too long. There's no getting away from it. It's it does meander too much for it. I do think I am a lot more positive on it than Bex is, in the sense that I agree. I think that the overall,
the songs were shite.
I think the music is very, very good. I think lyrically it is almost laughably bad at points.
Yeah, the music, when it's just music and there's no one repeating the same shit over and over again.
But my issue always has been with Sparks as a band, is that they musically they're very good, but lyrically they basically write jingles.
I'm unaware of that.
And so it's a little bit like that. But in terms of the overall of the film, yeah, it's too long, but it's very, 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 very pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful to look at, yeah, and it's very, very well acted.
Yeah.
Jord, did you think it was long enough?
I could be the different ones. I could have sat there for another 40 minutes. This is my favourite fictional film of the year. I mean, to be honest, going in it, I'm a big Leos Carax fan, but it's bold, it's beautiful, and I WhatsApped Ian whilst watching it, and I think as soon as you really realise that it's an opera and it's not a musical, so therefore, like, lyrically, it's not going to be a musical. It's not going to hold your hand through the songs. It's there much more. It's a bit more on the nose. I clicked into it and said I was on its wavelength. And it just took me on a trip. It's risky as all hell. The fact that they even made this movie, the fact that they've got the people who were in it to star in it. I loved it.
So the reason why I was asking this question was because, and actually, Jord kind of stole my thunder there. I probably could have watched it for 3 hours. I thought it was fucking brilliant. So a disparity we have. But yeah, I really, really vibed with it. I get that the lyrics are repetitive and whatnot, and but it just kind of felt theatrical in that regard for me. I thought I fucking loved the start.
Yeah.
Like I really, really liked it. Like I thought it was really discombobulating and just kind of settled me in for I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen here, and I'm just going to kind of go with it mentality. I mean,
I really liked the start, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, do you know what, this could be quite interesting. And then it just, do you know what, art is subjective. It was not for me. The songs pulled me out of it just too much. The songs being as bad as they were, the lyrical songs, ruined the rest of it for me.
You're going to say something, Mark?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the opening of you having the idea of Carax layering the images over itself in a kind of like, as you had the band sort of setting up, you had the relationship of, you started off with like one image, and then as another sort of you had like, and then you had a drum beat going, and then as like a keyboard thing came in, you had another image that started layering over the top of it like that, and then eventually when the band fully stopped, he stopped layering those images and it went all crisp and clear. And so it was such a nice fun way to kind of play with the idea that both musically and visually, it's things layering on top of things, and then the idea of it being, you know, the song, that's not part of the movie, that's an introduction to the movie, is again a really clever way to play with this, and then bounce you into the movie. So, you know, things like fucking Driver pulling out his wig and putting it into the side of his jacket, and then, you know, other bits like that kind of set it off. The fact that Marion Cotillard gets into that Escalade, and then it appears like it's like she's got in it, and Carax has forgotten to ask Marion Cotillard if she can drive, because it doesn't look like she's she's actually that confident in driving it off. Whereas we know that fucking he's just going to speed off in on his motorbike, because Driver looks like the kind of guy who has a motorbike. But yeah, I really enjoyed it as a literal thing to fucking look at.
And I think regarding the lyrics, what I think it did there was, if it was a normal musical, people would be thinking about listening to the lyrics and going along with the songs, where this was very much a visual story, where the music and what they're saying is not really there to push the story. you don't need the music to actually tell the story. It's very visual, the way that you'll be able to get the ebbs and flows of the plot and the dynamics between the relationship just by the actions and just by how Driver and Cotillard do it.
Whilst I was watching some bits of it, I was really enjoying the visuals and then going, oh my god, will you stop singing that fucking line over and over again? And it was pulling, not to the same extent I don't think as you, Becky, because you just fucking hated it.
He's a really good father. He's a really good father.
Yeah, that it was kind of dragging me completely out of it in terms of that, because there was a little element of, I get it, but you need to. It felt a little bit at points like the two were fighting against each other too much for me.
Mm. There was a disparity as well. I said this to you earlier, didn't I? Up against the banality of the plot itself, and then the sort of interesting way that story was presented, like the way that the visual elements of it were actually put forward, even down to like the wooden doll bit, which could have, I mean, it could have not worked quite spectacularly, but it works fine. But then the story versus the visuals, there's not that same level of quality there. The story's just dull.
That's the thing. I quite like the story. I don't know. I thought I thought Driver was like just really interesting. This like portrayal of just a fucking dick who doesn't really realize what he's got and just surrounds himself in shit that's gonna make him feel validated and like a big man and whatnot, and then he's undone by his kid. And that last fucking scene, it kind of destroyed me, to be honest. And it almost sounds obvious, but when it's basically cuts from puppet Annette to a real fucking girl, and then she's basically singing at her dad about how her dad cannot love her anymore. Extremely in my wheelhouse for emotional manipulation. Do not get me wrong. But yeah, it really, really fucking got me.
It's a real shame they couldn't have brought her into it earlier. To be fair, she was very good.
Well, that girl, yeah, she was great.
Yeah. I get why they didn't.
Oh yeah, I get why they didn't. But like
the symbolism of why they didn't is there. But she was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting to look out throughout the whole thing. I thought the kind of more audacious aspects were just entertaining, and I think that's what they were to be. I mean, obviously the much talked about Adam Driver singing while eating Marion Cotillard out is it's done so kind of like matter of fact in the film that it just makes it funnier. I like George said, just extremely into what the film was doing, but I wouldn't be surprised if I watched it in a bad mood, and I might have been a bit like, oh, fuck off about some of it, but I wasn't. I was just in the mood for it, and I think that helped.
I mean, it's one of those films where I'd never recommend anybody who isn't like quote unquote a cinephile. Like, I would never go to my mum and dad and say, do you know what you should watch? You should watch a 2-hour 20-minute pseudo opera about a really horrible man who uses the females in his life to try and get on top of the world, but then just comes plummeting back because he can't take the fact that he's not the one with the talent.
See, I think that's a bit of a failing that I have. Like, I can't really get on board with films where there's not a likeable character to latch onto, to root for.
There is a likeable character.
Even Marion Cotillard's not particularly likeable. She's wet.
No, there is a likeable character. That's the thing.
Annette.
No.
No, God no. She's literally a puppet. Simon Helberg's.
Helberg. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, when he comes essentially back into it after Cotillard has died, and you've got his song, I thought that was fantastically done.
where the camera's spinning around him,
and he has to keep sort of essentially within the song
hang on a minute.
stopping
Yeah.
to conduct, what is it? I thought that was the best musical piece in the thing, without question. I thought it was fantastic, and I thought he was very good. But he's an actor who is very famous for one thing, but everything else I've seen him in that isn't that one thing, he's always really, really good, and he's always really, really interesting. And I like the fact that you occasionally get these actors who become famous for one thing. You know, Daniel Radcliffe's one, and bits like that, who go, do you know what? There's my bank. You know, Simon Helberg is going to be able to live off the residuals off Big Bang for the rest of his fucking life, because there will be.
It gives him the freedom to do
and he can go out and do whatever the fuck he wants. I really think for it that to do this, he literally, because of some kind of quarantine rules or something like that, he had to become a French citizen to do it. So now he has dual nationality.
Yeah. It's even the musical talent of him, because like he has a piece where he's actually playing the piano.
He plays
the lyrics he's doing, it's so literal, and that's what I think regarding the lyrics is like everything that's being sang is just so literal. There's no flowery metaphors. It's I love you so much, or may we start, or you know what I mean. It doesn't try and beat around the bush. It's just saying this is the vibe of the scene. This is what we're going to be singing about. Yeah, it might be repetitive, but yeah, that didn't affect me. And which, if it affects people, you know what I mean. It can be. I mean, I can see it being a Marmite movie of like anybody who will flick on this on Netflix on a Thursday night, who would not like full on moviegoers, are going to be like off within 2 seconds.
Yeah, but I think you could say the same thing for the Holy Motors. I could see why some people would adore that. I love Holy Motors, but I could see why. And I've had conversations with people who, you know, and again, without sounding film snobby on this, you know, people who would be self-confessed cinephiles. I've had a conversation about Holy Motors who've gone, it's just pretty bollocks, it's shit. And I've been like, I'm not going to disagree with it, it's pretty bollocks, but it's pretty bollocks that I liked looking at a lot. And that's where I was with, very much in the similar vein with Annette. I wasn't connected with the story in any way whatsoever, but it fucking looks great. And I enjoyed that aspect. And like I said, musically, I think it's great.
Yeah. It just going back to that Simon Helberg thing where it's spinning around him. It like maybe it was just me, but kind of realizing as it was going on that the thing that he's conducting is like directly accompanying what he's talking about. And like the music's fitting into that. Like I thought at first it was just like he was doing a random bit of fucking conducting, and he's just gonna go for it every like when he needs to every now and then, and he's gonna get back to it. But then the way that it kind of like vibes with his emotions, like it just that really worked for me. And like you say, Mark, I mean like that dude like doesn't actually have to probably do a job for the rest of his life. And he directed a film a couple years back as well, and it was just this like small comedy drama thing, and I like
that wasn't very good, unfortunately. But
oh, was it not? Okay.
I remember seeing it in Edinburgh Film Festival, but
but the fact that he's trying for that, and he's like, yeah, I'll be in the Leos Carax film. I mean,
yeah, that was the We'll Never Have Paris, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind it.
It's I don't know. I think it's interesting. I mean, like Adam Driver has literally been trying to get it made for years. Like he was attached very, very early doors, and I've been trying to get it made. And I like that Driver, who produced the film as well, is just like, I'm going to use whatever force I have to get this film made. And like, you know, yes, he's a movie star and he plays the game and he's in ads and whatnot, but like he seems to be he's walking that line of like having quite a quiet private life and not necessarily seeming to want the fame, but then getting it because of the projects he's using and then using that to make interesting shit.
Yeah, absolutely, because he started on Girls. Girls got him Star Wars, and now he's finished with Star Wars, which, I mean, looking at his physicality, by the end, I don't think he was enjoying anyhow, but he actually still delivered good performances, and now he's starring in Noah Baumbach movies and starring in Leos Carax movies. I like that. It's a Robert Pattinson approach.
Yeah, exactly. But then he's also got 2 Ridley Scott films over the rest of the year as well.
Films opening back to back.
Like him and his agent are doing things right. But it's just the fact you do see him in like fucking ads for like Breitling watches and for fragrances and stuff like that, But he also just seems to be a ex-Marine, is like married, I think lives in New York, and kind of like tries to have a bit of a quiet life privately as well. He's not like doing the Leo thing.
Well, listen to this though as well. This is in 10 years. He made his acting debut with film-wise with J. Edgar in 2012. This is just a random collection of what is it? Eastwood, Baumbach, Spielberg, Cohen, Abrams, Jarmusch, Scorsese, Soderbergh, Spike Lee, William Johnson, Terry Gilliam, Louis Carax, and Ridley Scott. That's so far the guys that he's worked with.
Mm.
That's anybody, any actor out there who could say, would love to be able to say, I've worked with those fucking guys. It's like he's ticking off people that he wants to work with. And it's pretty cool because as well, you've got blockbuster things, from things like Star Wars, but you've got sort of very art housey things like Annette, but then you've also got things like Jeff Nichols' Midnight Special thrown in there. The Jarmusch stuff is done. He's also talked to the side characters in things like Logan Lucky and bits like that. He's definitely somebody who, I might not always like the films that he's in, but he's an interesting guy in terms of for what he's picking.
Yeah, quite. He's got interesting sensibilities, both commercial and art house, and it's he's treading that line well. And he's in Baumbach's new one, isn't he? The adaptation of White Noise.
Yes.
Which like personal probably most anticipated film of next year, because that fucking book slaps. So yeah. Cool.
Would be up there as one of my most anticipated of next year as well. But it's not.
What do you mean would be? Are you dying?
No, just my relationship with Noah Baumbach.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So I think we're at the end of that. I'm definitely not shit. I'm kind of intrigued to where your rankings go, Mark and Bex, but yeah, definitely not shit. Bex?
I think we had a ranking for this that it's like, I can say it's definitely not shit, but it's just not for me.
Isn't it your, what's it one?
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, I hate it.
Because I'm definitely not shit. It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
You know what? If I could watch a version of it without all those shitty songs in, and with just like either better songs or dialogue, I think I'd really enjoy it.
I can agree that I do think that the Sparks element of it is what lets the whole thing down and stops it from being a 5 out of 5 banger for me, because I was really fucking on board with it and I was really enjoying it. But yeah, I'm definitely not shit.
George?
And I'm definitely not shit too.
Okay, sweet. Right. I'm going to get a drink. Do we want to take a general pause or continue on with what we've been watching?
I'm going to get a drink as well, and I think I have won what I watched.
I'm going to go baste my chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair enough. Right, back in a sec then.
Wow, is this real? E4 are actually going to have a show called The Holden Girls.
Oh God, I saw it before. It sounds absolutely horrific.
But, no, it's not apparently. Apparently, it is a real show. Wow. Do you remember when E4 used to actually have comedy on it?
Hey, you like my voice, don't you? It's enticing. and exotic and sexy. Well, unfortunately, I'm just a promo guy being paid to advertise a movie podcast, and I can assure you that its hosts don't sound anywhere near as classy. But don't let my superior vocal talents discourage you, and go listen to His Film, Her Movie, the podcast where every episode the hosts must each choose a film to watch and discuss that has a connection to the chosen theme of that week's show. So stop aimlessly scrolling through whatever streaming service you're on, and let His Film, Her Movie give you an idea on what to watch next. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
CS3P Combat. Player 1, choose your character.
Tired of film and television podcasts where the hosts exist in a blissful state of agreement?
Instructor. Player 2, choose your character.
Well, you're in luck.
Hunter. Round 1, fight!
Allow me to introduce you to the Chinstroker vs. Punter podcast, featuring two film and television fans from Birmingham, England, who enjoy their media in very different ways.
But anyway, that brings us to the end of the plot of Blue Velvet.
The plot. I mean, the main characters are two of the dullest main characters I have ever encountered in any film.
So join us as we catch up on what we've been watching from our own very different perspectives.
Double KO. Round 2, fight!
You can find us at csvsp.libsyn.com, also on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all the places that podcasts can be found.
Just really
It's not visually striking.
No.
Just getting confirmation.
It's just in English. That's the third time though. I mean, is this on?
Let's do some what we've been watching then. So, Jord, got anything to
starting with me?
Yeah, why not?
I've only watched one film this week that wasn't one of the main reviews. Going on that off topic of that, me and Lauren are doing the timeline order Marvel movies, so doing that. But today, not today, but I watched 1963's The Whip in the Body, Mario Bava's The Whip in the Body, starring the one, the only Christopher Lee. And this is a gothic horror, very much in the blueprint of those Hammer horrors, the Universal monsters, and it's not great visually. It's excellent. I mean, the plot is wafer thin, but you do expect that with those sorts of movies. It's just Bava is like the Argento. It's just, I will watch anything that they produce just because, and I can watch it on mute because they are that beautiful to watch. There are scenes, the scenery within it, but the use of blue and red light. It's in one scene, like there's a character walking down a corridor, and on one side he's baked with red light, but then he'll walk into the shadow for a split second. When he comes out the shadow, the other side's bathed in blue light, and that just keeps on going. And it's so visually lush and visually rich that anything regarding the kind of S&M style plot, the movie regarding a ghost coming back to haunt a family who could have killed him and his estranged lover. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like the hammer, I like the campiness. I like the fact that it does have that Universal monster movie feel to it. And Christopher Lee is sometimes just standing in a scene, no reaction in his face. People look at him and scream. It's great.
Nice. I mean, that's
how it was. The Whip in the Body.
That was, yeah.
It's Christopher Lee one, isn't it?
It's Christopher Lee, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah. Right. I'm watching it about 10 years ago, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice. Anything else, Jord?
No, that's it from me.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I cut off slightly earlier on, so I think maybe I missed something there. Okay. No, fair enough. Whips. Cool. Mark and Becky, over to you. What have we got?
What have you been watching, Bex?
I only watched one on my own. Yeah. I rewatched Rocket Man because it just keeps popping up on Netflix that it's on there, and I fucking love it.
You just gave it and went, fuck it, why not?
It's those thick thighs, they pull me in every time.
Is he your Lily James?
Yeah, he is, yeah. God, can you imagine a film where they were both in it together? It'd be amazing. Everyone would love it. No, it's really good, is Rocket Man, and coming out in the same year.
You reckon?
Oh, all right, in the same slipstream as that other piece of shit that came out.
Boho Rhapsody.
Yeah, the movie that shall not be named. It's probably not super accurate, but at least it's got the person that's mainly being portrayed's blessing, which I think is important, which obviously Bohemian Rhapsody couldn't. But they did a real fucking number on the main character in that one, whereas at least this one, like I say, it portrays him the bad side as well, but he was involved in it, so it's a completely different thing. And I was talking to someone at work about it and saying I find it every time I watch it, I'm reminded of like when he's sat in the therapy room and he gradually takes off all the kind of trappings of his fame, all the little bits of his costume, until he eventually takes the glasses off and he's just sat in like a dressing gown. And it's like, yeah, it's heavy-handed and it's not exactly subtle or anything, but it's like stripping back the layers to get him back to a bit of normality. And then that bit where they all come into the room and they're talking to him, and he like he's talking to his mother and his father, and he's talking to Bernie, and then he gives his younger self a hug. I find it quite emotional, and I always cry. It's like Dancing Queen for me. I had another good cry movie this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. And with movies that I really like first time round, I always get a bit nervous that they're not going to hold up on a rewatch.
Yeah.
Like I get nervous on every rewatch, even if I've watched it a few times, which I have with Rocket Man. But yeah, I think it just gets better and better for me, and the musical numbers in it are really, really good. The bit where he's like sat after his overdose, and they just he goes on a circuit through hospital and then straight back out, and he's backstage getting ready, and he's just like trying to force himself to smile in the mirror before he goes out, and it's just horrible, really, and sad. But he's fine now.
Yep.
3 million years sober, married, kids, living his best life.
Yeah, I think the one thing I think everyone can agree with is Elton John's doing all right.
Yeah. No, but it could have gone like a completely different way, couldn't it?
Yeah.
That's true.
And it didn't. He sorted himself out. And then he sorted loads of other people out as payback to the universe. So good on him.
I think one of the weird things about Elton John as a musician is that I think people forget, like, literally he is one of the best-selling musicians of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just like one of like the top 30 best-selling musicians of all time. It's like one of the top 5. You know, he's up there with with like the Beatles as one of the all-time best-selling.
It's very good.
Well, it was.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only other thing we watched together, because of our mad week that we've had, was The Fog.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I love The Fog.
What, JC's?
Yeah.
Yeah, after you watched it last week,
hell
I
yeah.
was like, need to watch The Fog. So we watched it Saturday night, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Went and I watched The Fog Saturday night. I really like The Fog.
It is very, very good. It's quite low energy though, isn't it? But it's still got that kind of tension to it.
Yeah, but I really dig that about it. I dig about The Fog is the fact that every time when I'm watching it, I get to a point of where I go, hang on a minute, why is it concluding? It's only just started. And at the end I go, holy shit! It never tries to. It's never got like a big action scene or a big scene or anything like that. It just ticks along at this really fucking nice pace that you just get a little bit kind of lost in its location, its atmosphere, and all of these bits.
Yeah.
That it's just so floaty, but
pussy magnet.
It's got pussy magnet mannequins in it. Yeah.
Guy gets tail.
He fucking does. Like, so easy. Just gets tail.
I really like Jamie Lee Curtis in this as well. I like young Jamie Lee Curtis, but everyone just kind of goes, oh, Halloween. And I think this one kind of gets forgotten about a bit, doesn't it, in the mix?
Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, and she's definitely doing a different thing with this. She's going for a different vibe with this. But yeah, it's such a... again, I think the fog kind of gets lost within the, Halloween and the Thing and other Carpenters of the era.
Carpenterverse.
But for me, it's definitely up there as high-end Carpenter.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those kind of low-key, fantastic movies, but it's not doing out flashy, really, is it? So it doesn't.
No, but the thing is, I think I watched The Fog more than I watched The Thing.
Yeah. I like The Thing.
I do like The Thing.
Should do that this week.
But I watch The Fog more often than I watch The Thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And I watch Escape from New York more than all of them.
Yeah.
Because it's Escape from New York.
Of course.
So yeah, that was what you've been watching.
We've been rubbish this week.
We have been terrible this week.
Apologies, guys.
Apologies.
Do you know what I watched this week?
Did you watch Escape from New York?
I did. So yeah, I mean the Blank Check podcast are doing John Carpenter at the moment, which is proving a good excuse to rewatch some. So yeah, I've actually got quite a few here, guys. So buckle in. Sorry. So yeah, Escape from New York. I mean, that film is just a 5-star banger every which way you look at it. Like, just Kurt Russell straight from his fucking first conversation with Lee Van Cleef, where it's just like, and the president is missing. The president of what? It's great. It's great.
It's the fucking chandeliers on
fucking the Duke's car.
It's just it's the little touches like that are just fucking brilliant.
And just in the score, it's like the synthy stuff, but there's almost like some cowbell in it as well. It's like bunk 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 do 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 do. It's
the Escape from New York theme tune is something that I hum almost every day to myself.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely.
It's that thing, when you're doing like a mundane task, but it's not like a mundane task. It's just a task that you do every day, so it stops being mundane. It just becomes something you're doing. So like,
do you do it while you're jerking off?
I mean, yeah, no, I don't consider that mundane at any point. And it's only like a 6-minute song as well. So, but like when I'm flicking the lights on at work and I'm putting the shutter up and bits like that, almost daily I'll be fucking humming the Escape from New York theme song.
That's I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. I mean, noted masturbation fan Ernest Borgnine as Cabby is just fucking fantastic. For context there, they talk about this on Blank Check, but it was the first time I'd ever seen it. There is a clip on YouTube of Ernest Borgnine on like Fox News being interviewed, and they say like, you're looking great for your age, and you're so spry, like what's the secret? And he's just like, I don't think I can tell you. And then like the host is like, no, what? And he just leans in and just whispers, I masturbate a lot. But it and like the looks on the other faces as they're kind of comprehending what it is he's fucking saying is incredible. And he's just there fucking laughing his ass off.
He's a man who hasn't taken anything seriously for a good 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, bless his soul. Like, that's a proper rest in peace. Ernest Borgnine, he did well. But yeah, he's great in Escape from New York. And it just it's a terrific film, perfect length and just in and out, but a great time. And just a shout out for Frank Doubleday as Romero, the almost goblin-looking dude with the teeth.
Oh yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Hisses at the beginning.
Sorry?
When he hisses at the beginning.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. It's great stuff. So Escape from New York, Iron Man 3, which I watched in preparation for Shang-Chi because of Ben Kingsley, basically. I really like Iron Man 3. I think it's one of the most unique feeling films of the MCU. It would be interesting if they'd let Shane Black do something like that film again. Kind of feel like they probably would. But yeah, it's fun, good action sequences, good characters. If knowing that Rebecca Hall was originally supposed to be the big bad, but the former head of Marvel kiboshed that because she wouldn't sell toys, and apparently Guy Pearce would. That does make the film look worse. The whole idea of someone who was basically used and tossed away by Tony Stark turning out to be a big bad just feels like a really natural fit. And Rebecca Hall's really good in it when she's in it, and then she's just like fucking unceremoniously killed off in the end of the second act. It doesn't hang right. So, but yeah, I think Iron Man 3 is really, really solid. It holds up well, and it has just got that Shane Black sensibility, which is unique for those films. Finished off my completely unnecessary Pirates of the Caribbean franchise watch with Dead Men Tell No Tales or Salazar's Revenge. It was the only one that I hadn't seen previous to this set of rewatches. It's better than On Stranger Tides, for sure. It's weird that the emotional arc in the film belongs to Jeffrey Rush's Barbossa. Like, why? Odd. But I think the first half hour, 45 minutes is fucking brilliant. Like, really, really good, trying to recapture like the air of the first one. And then it just gets bogged down in you got to go and get this thing to do that thing, and then you're going to look at that thing, and it turns out that thing actually meant that, and then there's a battle at the end, but the battle was really anticlimactic. Like, really anticlimactic. And also, I was watching it, and Donna came in at one point, and she was like, oh, what's this? I was like, oh, it's the last Pirates of the Caribbean. And she was just like, Javier Bardem, that CG looks worse than anything out of the ones that I've seen, and she'd seen the first three. And she was right.
Yep.
Like,
right.
Javier Bardem in this, and it's like his hair is like kind of like floating up because it's like he's stuck in the water or something. And it's just, you look at Davy Jones, and David Jones is this like really like visceral, almost like tangible. You feel like you could actually reach out in the screen and like touch him and get a shitload of like sea mess on your hands. And with Javier Bardem, it's like you'd reach out and you'd just like your hand would just go through him, like it's just air, it's nothingness. And it was really distracting. But and also I will say Kaya Scodelario is like the young woman of the film, and she's very good actually, like very spunky, and she's got heft to her. Brenton Thwaites as the young man of the film is an absolute wet fart. So yeah, that is that. David Lynch's Dune. Watch the new 4K of this. Dune is a film which has got vision and production design and score and fucking nothing else. But those things are so good that I would still mildly recommend it. Mildly. That film spends the first half hour, 45 minutes, setting up a world and doing it slowly and kind of doing it interestingly, and then spends the next hour and a half basically on fast forward. It's like if somebody read Dune and then had a stroke, and then you asked them to recall the plot of Dune. That's Dune. Yeah, believe me. But the thing is, watching this, it's like, shit, if Denis Villeneuve can do this, but good, we're on for something. So I'm excited for that. And I'm on to my last two. Laputa Castle in the Sky.
Ooh.
First time watch.
Was it?
Yeah.
What did you think? Did it break you?
Hell yeah. This film fucking rules.
It's fucking brilliant.
It is Sky Pirates, which is brilliant. And that's great. And you got Uncle Pom. He's this old man in a cave. And he thinks Pazu's a demon. That's great. They go up in the sky. There's a pirate mum and all these guys who I kind of thought weren't her kids, and then I think they actually are. And for some reason, they all want to fuck this like 15-year-old girl. But it's like kind of gentle, and it's a little bit, are they just idiots? And is she actually older than 15? I don't know, but I'm going with it. It's fine. And then they go to this fucking castle in the sky, and then video game reference time. It basically, I think, Nier Automata, it was very much inspired by Laputa Castle in the Sky, and that game has got some beautiful shit going on in it, and this has as well. Moss-covered robot who just wants to tend the garden and look after the birds. I want him to, and the fox things. I want him to be my friend.
The muscular robot where everything starts attacking it and he's just shooting it down is a beautiful scene. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. I don't like it, and I don't want to talk about that again because I don't like it.
It isn't it? It gets you, and when I scream it to stop, and it just won't stop. It is fucking weirdly. It is one of the most harrowing things I have seen in cinema.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it properly fucking broke me. Next.
Great film, great. And you had it as a choice early on in Patron's Choice, didn't you, Bex?
Did, yeah.
Yeah. People fucked up not voting for it.
They did.
And they voted for my choice, but I'll say that. You've done fucked up. Last one. So this is on Netflix, and it's got a title where it's just like, well, I need to watch this then, don't I? A classic horror story.
Is that the Spanish one?
I think it's Italian, maybe.
I've got that in my watch list.
So I'd be intrigued to see what you think about it, Bex.
Okay.
It basically is kind of like it's almost like got a little bit of Texas Chainsaw, got a little bit of Midsommar, got a little bit of fucking like different genres of films all kind of mixed up in it. Hence the title, A Classic Horror Story, because it's almost like a fucking like just chucking them all in and just being like, this is a classical horror story. But then it's got some meta elements to it as well, which I'm not going to really talk about. What did I say on Letterboxd about this? Because maybe that will just sum it up for me. Bear with. Quite fun in moments, and there's a kill towards the end, which is just great. Ha 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 ha. Blimey stuff. But the increasing look how meta we are being nature got rather tired, and I kind of just felt like it was very pleased with itself. Didn't hate it, but defo won just for those inclined. And yeah, that's about it. There is a kill towards the end that is properly shit. Which was great. Bex, watch it and we'll talk about it.
What was that? Sorry.
Watch it and we'll talk about it.
Yep, I will do. I'll watch it this week.
Yeah, cool. All right. I'd be intrigued. Maybe then we can maybe get a little bit spoilery because maybe those are the aspects where I fall off of it. So yeah. So that'll do for what we've been watching. Actually, no. One thing I forgot to talk about last week. I believe I did anyway. Europa, which was an Edinburgh film festival film, which played the Cannes director Fortnight. It's basically like I think it's like 72 minutes long. It's like real short. And it's basically a guy is crossing a country border and is hiding from kind of like border agents and people who basically just want to kill immigrants. And I thought it was all right. There's a review on Pod Syndicate for it. Considering it was only 72 minutes long and has that plot, I didn't feel particularly tense for long moments of it. Great opening. There's a fantastic sequence where someone picks this guy up and like he hitchhikes. That's wonderfully tense. And then the ending is nicely. Oh, what did that mean then? But there are large chunks of just watching this guy walking about in the woods, and I know I'm supposed to feel tense because it's just like something could happen at any minute, but nothing happens for long enough that you just go, when is something going to be happening? I hope it's in any minute. So yeah, I thought it was a bit of a misfire, but it was very, very well intentioned. And I think it might be playing LFF actually. I think I remember seeing it in the listings. But yeah, not necessarily worth your time. It was on the online screener library for Edinburgh, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is for LFF as well. So that will do for that. Let's move on to Vanilla Sky. Let's do the retro review. Let's do the patron's choice.
Nice.
So Vanilla Sky is directed by Cameron Crowe and stars Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz, Jason Lee, Penelope Cruz, Timothy Spall, others. Noah Taylor's in there. Tilda Swinton's in there. Blimey. Kurt Russell's in there. Good cast. So.
Michael Shannon's in there.
Michael Shannon's in there as a security guard. So, yeah, Vanilla Sky, a remake of the Spanish language film Open Your Eyes, Abre los Ojos, or something like that. And concerns David Ames, played by Tom Cruise, who is the son of a publishing magnate who is having what many would consider to be a dream life, as in Cameron Diaz is essentially his fuck buddy, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants. He has a magical night with Sophia, played by Penelope Cruz. After that, he takes a drive with Cameron Diaz. She tells him that she swallowed his cum, and that means something, and it all goes wrong from there. Jordan, when you swallow cum, does it mean something?
It depends on the situation.
That's a good answer.
But do you know what film that I want to watch? I want to watch a sequel to Vanilla Sky, where David Ames now lives in 2021, and he's now living in a one-bedroom apartment because publishing's gone to the shit.
This is not my original joke, but I heard someone say what a sequel title for Vanilla Sky could be once, and this actually feels quite appropriate. Chocolate Ground.
Yes.
Well,
But no,
tell him, don't they, before he wakes up, that his money's not worth much in the modern world.
Yeah.
But Vanilla Sky, so I have a bit of a relationship with Vanilla Sky because it was, as a sort of a middle-aged teen, one of my favourite films. I remember it was one of those films that really just opened doors into different ways that you can tell a story. And
did it open your eyes, Jordan?
It did. It abrestless or just me. So yeah, I just used to find it really great, and every time I do actually return to it, I get a hell of a lot of nostalgia out of it. Now, that on one side, the other side is this film isn't anywhere near as smart as it thinks it is. Now, that is both a negative and something that I maybe naively look over, because the second half of this film, and I don't know if it's just because we've seen it before or anything like that, but it's everything is telegraphed. There's no nuance. There's no slyness to it. It's every single bit of like twist that's delivered is just dropping a brick on your head, saying, "Look out for this. Look out for this. Look out for this." Whereas if it was a little bit more, secretive with its twists, I think it would have been better. But Tom Cruise, Penelope Cruz, the first 40 minutes of this movie is just a joy. The chemistry that those two actors have is unbelievable. It's electric, and I will always thank Vanilla Sky for being the film that introduced me to Jeff Buckley, and he will always be in my heart for that.
Well, I remember I was at this point I was already a bit of a Jeff Buckley obsessive, as Noel's CD collection can now attest to, and so I do remember kind of like when Last Goodbye kicks in that. I do kind of always remember doing a precursor to the DiCaprio meme thing and kind of going, holy shit, because it was you hadn't had the Jeff Buckley explosion that you had now, where there's so much out there.
Yeah.
From what is it? It was just, if you were a fan, you had one album, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even that Jeff Buckley, the soundtrack is incredible. It opens up on Radiohead, which is superb. It's just one of those where, if I looked at it in a critical eye, I could really poke holes in it and sort of mock it. But because I have that relationship, because I have that nostalgia, I let a hell of a lot of it slide. And there is stuff there which I do enjoy in the second half, but it's just a bit blunt force trauma.
That's an interesting way of putting it. I like that, blunt force trauma. Yeah. Mark, when you swallow cum, does it mean something?
It happens so often that it stopped meaning anything.
I think that's the answer you was expecting. You've silenced Ian.
You got anything to say about the film, or?
If I had swallowed Tom Cruise's cum, it would have meant something to me. The thing is, Vanilla Sky, I remember seeing it at cinema, and it not quite clicking with me. I remember coming out of it a little bit like, quite right. I felt a little bit like I'd fallen asleep for a portion of it. And I hadn't. I checked. And then.
How did you check?
What?
How did you check?
I just made sure myself and knew that I had.
Do I feel well rested?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So I went back to see it like a few days later. Sorry. I went to see it like a few days later again and still had the same feeling.
Who'd you go with?
I went on my own both times because you wouldn't come with me.
I was going through my Tom Cruise thing at the time.
Yes, you were. And then the thing is, every time I watched it, I kind of almost wanted to like it, but then it never quite clicked with me. This was the time where it most clicked with me.
Yeah.
Watching it here, yeah. And I really like it. Like you say, John, it's nowhere near as smart as it maybe likes to think it is. And I almost feel a little bit like I don't know why it didn't line up for me.
I think it's nowhere near as smart as we all thought it was at the time. Like, I think maybe we've all just kind of changed.
Yeah.
That's what it might be as well, because I saw this when it came out in 2001. I would have been 14, 15 at the time, so it was a undeveloped mind.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think when you're looking at it, you're almost looking from that age. You're looking up to the Cruise's character, and you're going, yeah, well, that does look a fucking cool life and all this lot.
It does look a pretty cool life.
But now you're kind of around the same. You're a little bit older than him, and you're going, oh, you knob, you're doing all the wrong things with that life, aren't you?
Yeah.
And so you're almost looking at it from that way, and. But yeah, I really did get on with it quite well. It's Cameron Crowe hasn't made a lot of movies, and he was very much within this sort of 4-year period between sort of Jerry Maguire and this was his weirdly, I think I'm right in saying his most prolific period as a filmmaker, because he made 3 in the space of 5 years, and I don't think he'd done anywhere near that before. But he definitely had a fucking mojo going with Almost Famous and this. That's the only time he's made 2 films back to back in 2 years. And so he definitely had like a creative juices kind of very much sort of flowing within him.
You can't respond to a question about comment and then have juices.
I did that on purpose. Yeah. And he was at that point where everybody wanted to work with him. The cream of the crop wanted to work with him. Yeah.
Stop it now.
Yeah, people wanted to get cream with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You took it too far then.
I know I did.
You lost the metaphor.
So, Bex, I'm not going to ask you that same question because I've asked you previously, and the answer will haunt me. Continues to haunt me for years.
I had the answer and everything.
Well, all right then, Bex. If you swallow cum, does it mean something? It
means I don't have to worry about getting enough protein for the rest of the day.
Okay, I'm going to ask a sub question. Have you ever done any analysis as to the protein content of Mark's sperm?
No, I haven't actually. To be fair, he's basically falling to bits, so it's probably more poison at this point.
My deck jizz.
You are?
My deck's jizz.
Nice.
I was just thinking, it's like...
Increased your prospects of getting laid tonight there, Mark. Well done.
So I can tell a chab.
Fucking hell. But what did you think of the film? Oh, God, I wish I didn't ask. What did you think of the film, Bex?
Yeah, you know what? It's a very good film, and it's I think you've covered most of it. It's nowhere near as clever as it thinks it is, and I think it kind of wraps itself up trying to be clever, and it spends so much time on that it ends up not being quite as engaging, like you say, in the second half. I remember I've been really confused the first couple of times that I watched it, because I think I actually did fall asleep the first few times we watched it, as to where the actual cut-off point was. I think I always fell asleep for the bit where it's the bit in the street where he gets passed out. But yeah, I mean, it's perfectly watchable. It's not the mind bender that I think it wants to be. And Cameron Diaz's character is as annoying as fuck in it. But then she's supposed to be.
I think she's great in it.
You like crazy bitches though, don't you? You'd be like, hey Cameron.
That's a fair point.
Come on a fucking date.
I was having a conversation with Jordan on WhatsApp maybe yesterday, and actually, considering Mark's predilection for crazy bitches, and how I'm usually like, yeah, all right then, I'm kind of into the vibe here.
Yeah, I'd be doing stuff like saying to her on a night out, going, throwing the keys and going, oh, you can drive. You're a bit tired at the moment, though, don't you? Just to see what happens.
She'd want to do it 4 times, though, Mark. Would you be up for that?
What?
She'd want to do it 4 times. 4 times means something.
It does mean something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to take it to the next fucking level and go, how fucking crazy you get if it's 5? Let's fucking do this.
I must say that scene itself did seem like it was written by like a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It felt so awkward.
Yeah.
I do like Tom Cruise's reactions during it though, where like first off he's just kind of like joking about and whatnot, and he just gets increasingly more uncomfortable. And then when the car does crash, like the matter of fact way it's shot, where it just goes off the bridge, smacks into that wall, and then just like 10 seconds later, you see people running towards it. That was great. Like, that's such a fucking hell. Is that, yeah, that's what car crashes are like in real life. It's just like
That's
a
the same
few
thought I had,
seconds of madness.
Car crashes are normally like explosions and lots of noise and dramatic music, but it's just so like low key, like kind of like there's no bells and whistles about it, and that it is probably what it is like in real life. Sorry,
it just no, absolutely. But like, and that whole kind of like, it's so high tension and stressful in that car, and then the outer world is just almost carrying on as if it like none of it matters, and just the way that it's spent all the like this film so far on David Ames and kind of like how important he thinks he is, and like how the world revolves around him. Then you got that one shot where it's just like, you're just a fucking dude in a car that's gone over a bridge. Like I like that kind of like that momentary, he's not like the hero of a story, he's just a fucking guy. And I thought that was effective. But yeah, I remember seeing this in the cinema, and when he wakes up and that sky's a funny colour, just turning to like one of the people I was watching it with and just going like, I can't the sky's a bit of a funny colour. This bit isn't real. And then it turned out, shit, I was right. You know, like, but then it's interesting because you've got Noah Taylor like talking to him in that bar and saying like, you control the world around you. And then it feels like there's probably another 20-25 minutes, because then after that it's the whole him killing Julie/Sophia, and then like all the explanation, and it's like, but Noah Taylor's made it very, very clear that this shit isn't real. So why are we now watching you slowly work this out or be told it when he's told you control this fucking world? It's a weird place for that section to be.
And that's it. It's the fact that it is so blunt with it, and not only that, but it's even at the end. It's so the fact that it spells it out in a Psycho-esque coda of this is exactly what happened, and I just want just be it. Give it a little bit of leeway. Do you know what I mean? Leave a little bit to the imagination. I don't get me wrong. I like the way it gets up to the fact of it goes to the question of, okay, should I continue my life on, or should I live in the past? And that is kind of what the story of, like the message of the story is, I believe, of not dwelling on the past but looking at the future. But yeah, you don't need the full-on explanation in the longest elevator scene ever.
Yeah. All right, that elevator keeps going. Sorry.
No.
An interesting question, though, isn't it? It's like, would you plug back into the Matrix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing as well. If it's like, look, we've fixed the bug, this isn't going to happen again. We're not going to charge you for tech support, which I thought was a nice fucking moment. And you know, you could just continue on. You can forget all this ever happened, or you can take your chances in the real world. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, all right, you're dreaming, but you want to have this dream about Sophia, don't you? Like,
there's no Sophia in the real world. She's dead.
No, yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. And it's like, I didn't really get the arc of, yes, he wants to wake up. Because the whole problem is, I've killed my girlfriend thinking like she was like someone else, and like I was being like gaslit by the seven dwarfs and whatnot. That's been solved. Oh, okay, I'm in this thing, or I can wake up and who the fuck knows. He says goodbye to Sophia at the end, but I don't buy it. I'm like, why aren't you staying with her? It doesn't. That arc doesn't work for me. Like straight up.
I think maybe once he realizes that he never actually had anything with her apart from that one day, though. Living in a dream world maybe seems a bit hollow. I don't know. But he wouldn't remember that, would he?
No, because that's the thing. He wouldn't remember that. And I don't get that, okay, I need to understand that it was basically an infatuation with Sophia. Because he's having the relationship with Sophia and he's shagging her when he kills her thinking that she's Julie. You know, like there's not that break of I need to wake up and live my life because I realised that it was an infatuation. There's never that bit there. It goes from I'm living my life with Sophia, this buggy shit's happening. Oh, that's the solution to the buggy thing. Actually, do you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go and live a real life. It doesn't click for me within this film.
With no money, just living as a normal guy because my 150 years ago money will not be worth as much now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Matrix all the way, baby.
Straight up. That's the thing. If we're living a simulation, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm fine. You know, my life isn't perfect, but it's perfectly fucking agreeable.
So now we could do with some tech support to get rid of this pandemic bullshit.
yeah. The literal virus that it has.
Yeah, I mean, you can get rid of the people who are fucking spitting on other people and fucking taking, what is it, like cow dewormer or horse dewormer or whatever it is, thinking they're fucking treating themselves. Take those people out. That's absolutely fine.
About knobheads and taking drugs meant for horses.
Like cat.
And then this fucking dewormer that people, what is that? There is nothing more American than people having to wait outside hospitals after being shot because the beds are full of people who have taken a horse dewormer.
Mm.
Good point. So I feel like have we talked Vanilla Sky through?
I think we have. What we haven't talked about is how early into the shoot did Tom Cruise get Jason Lee on board with Scientology? That is the question I want to know.
I think it was already beforehand.
Isn't that why Lee, like, as well as the Almost Famous thing, but Tom Cruise is like, yeah, he can be my wingman. I can talk to him about Scientology, so like, because he's into it.
Maybe.
Good on Jason Lee is good in this.
He is.
He's not being asked to do much, but he is good. And he feels like the kind of guy who is just going to go, shit, you're interested in the girl I'm interested in. I can't compete with that. Like, I'm good looking. I'm charming. I know I'm not Tom Cruise. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's Jason Lee's level.
Yeah. It's odd, but yeah. But he's very good in this, but he was very good at cropping up in a lot of things around this time that he was really good in.
Yeah, for me, touching cloth. I think it's all right. And I'm the one who picked the fucking thing, so fuck me, I guess.
The 4K was fine.
Yeah, good transfer. Looked good.
I relate to it. I'm definitely not shit. I like this the most. This is the most I've liked it.
Yeah, I would say definitely not shit. I get enough out of it to not be like negative on it, I think.
Me too, definitely not shit. So I get a lot of nostalgia out of it.
Well, I mean, if we've learned anything today, is that when we all swallow cum, it means something and gives us protein. Let's move.
As of 2016, Lee no longer practices Scientology.
Yeah, I did tell you this when you made the Scientology comment in the film. I said he doesn't practice it anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, that's alright. We can like him again. He's not mental.
Is that why he hasn't been in anything for years? Because like the thetans are out of balance or whatever the fuck it is.
Maybe it is.
Right. Pig. Pig is directed by Michael Zarnowski and stars Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff, and Adam Arkin. So, Pig is the story of a chef who is living in the woods with his pig. the pig is kidnapped one day, and the chef recruits a guy he sells truffles to, Amir, played by Alex Wolff, to find his fucking pig. Jordan McGrath. When Nicolas Cage is talking to the chef about halfway through the film, did you feel like you were watching a man's soul collapse? Because I did.
Absolutely. There is a subreddit called Watch People Die Inside. And that would definitely be in there. But so I liked Pig. I didn't actually think I was going to like it as much as I did. Nicolas Cage, again, he's an interesting one, but he's superb in this, but he's also absolutely superb in that scene. Like you get him staring into that guy's soul and just tearing him apart. It's great to watch. There's parts that I like more than others, and even the parts that I don't like that make no sense, I still kind of enjoyed. Like the stuff I don't get. Like, is there an actual truffle mafia like going on in Portland where we go and get put into a chef's fight club?
I reckon Nick Cage wrote that bit in.
That is baffling to me, and it just feels so out of place with the entire rest of the movie. That it just goes into sort of truffle fight club. But other than that,
well, Jordan.
Yeah,
it's the idea behind it is it's so that the hospitality people can take out their aggression on the chefs.
Yeah, because he's not allowed to fight back, is he?
No, he's not allowed to fight back. He's just got to take a beating.
Money for it.
Yeah.
So that actually I find it interesting, but I don't feel it belongs in this movie. But I liked its vibe, I liked its energy, I liked the low keyness of it. And yeah, I mean, the stuff which I don't. It's one of those things where there are plot points that I don't know if they just aren't answered or that I just didn't fully get. Because why did the guy's dad, who's like the big bad of the place, why did he not like Nicolas Cage? Did he steal his wife, or did he do something to his wife that made her go into like a mental institution? Like, why did he arrange for the pig to be taken?
I think he just wanted a truffle pig.
Yeah, I think
it's personal.
I don't think there was any. I don't think he even knew whose truffle pig it was.
So I thought it was personal. Like, when he turns up on the guy's porch, it seems like they knew each other. I may have read something completely into that, but yeah, I felt like that was an actual, because he said that when he found out that the pig was his, he had to take it or something like that. And I was just like, well, I don't understand why. So, like, but if there is actually no connection, then that makes a little bit more sense. But it felt like it was amping up to that, and it never really delivered it.
Yeah, my reading on it was that not that they knew each other, but that just chefs of that kind of stature are just known, aren't they? And especially if you work in the industry, I think it was just that it was a recognisable name/face when he eventually turned up at his house.
Yeah.
That was my read anyway.
Yeah.
Which maybe just me not clicking on then, but like, yeah, so I liked it a lot. I wouldn't say it's great. I mean, would I watch it again? Probably not for a few years, but it's a nice 87 minutes. Sorry, 87 minutes. Can't go wrong with that.
Becky.
Mhm.
Did you want to eat the pig?
No.
I don't eat the pig.
No,
I kind of did. That looked like a fucking chunky pig.
Tasty pig, though.
Oh, that bit though where he's like, I don't need her to find the truffles. I just love her. It broke my fucking heart. She's like his dog.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I was explaining right, so obviously we're all spoilers all the time, aren't we? I was explaining the plot to my parents the other day, and I got sort of towards the end of it, and they were like, "Oh, so was he really happy when he got the pig back?" I was like, "Oh no, the pig's dead." And they were like, "Oh, that's awful. So what did he do?" Just went back to his cabin and was sad. Probably won't watch that then, Bex. All right, yeah, probably not.
But Bex, when your mum swallows cum, does it mean something?
I mean, she's not got a headache for once, so good on her.
Only Ian could ask that question about Bex.
No,
I need to know. What's the number? I'll ask her.
No, they don't have a landline anymore, and I don't know a mobile off by heart. You can ring my dad if you like. I know he's
cool. What's his number?
I'll probably tell you later.
I wouldn't.
No. Ian, after a few Jack Daniels. Oh, hi, Steve. When Elaine swallows cum, does it mean something? You'd probably have your trapped.
Oh, sorry, I've really lost my thread now. Mark, so Alex Wolff, right?
Yep.
He's an interesting one because there's another Wolf, isn't there?
There's a Nat Wolff.
And he's Nat Wolff.
Yeah.
I can't tell them apart.
I can't. To the point of where for this entire thing, I was looking and going, Nat Wolff looks fucking different, doesn't he?
So this one's the Hereditary one, isn't it?
Yes. And his brother is the other one.
He was the one who was in Death Note, I think.
Yes, he was on in Death Note. And Fault in Our Stars.
Right. Okay. So Alex Wolff.
Yeah.
Seems to be a bit of a kind of an A24 adjacent boy.
Yeah.
What did you think to him in this? Because I don't know. I thought he was interesting. I mean, like I thought he probably had like the clearest arc of the film because Nicolas Cage doesn't really have an arc. He's like this guy who people react to. But what did you think of Alex Wolff in this? Because I thought personally, I thought he brought as much to the plate as Cage did, but in kind of different, less obvious ways.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit the bit that I was most worried about for Pig was Alex Wolff's character because I found him a little bit bland to watch, to be honest. In other bits, but yeah, I thought he was very good in this. You got the feeling that he was very much that he was living in somebody else's shadow, and he was all a lot of bravado that he didn't even really seem to believe in. You know, to the point where the ridiculous car that he doesn't seem like he can quite handle, and the fact that when he's arriving, he's listening to this blasting out classical music. But then when Cage gets in the car with him and they're driving back down, he's actually listening to a guide to classical music.
That's so funny, that bit where he just keeps turning it on.
Yeah. So you've got that this kid who is all front, and he's basically, John framed it quite well. It's what we have is this weird kind of what if truffles were dealt in the same way as cocaine is, and what if the people like the chefs, it was this essentially like crime world about it.
Oh, is this not how it is?
What?
Is this not?
I very much doubt it. No. And so you've got that element of it. There is he's almost basically fucking Fredo of the whole party.
Yeah.
For that, and I kind of like that vibe about it. But he's almost not wanting to. He's wanting to be a hard ass like his dad and pretend that he doesn't give a shit and he's just in it for what is it. But he's just a little bit too nice.
I don't think he's so much at the start, though. I think he's very much kind of closed himself off to like allowing himself to do that. But by the end, he stopped seeing like Nick Cage as a commodity that provides him with things, and more as like an actual human being.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. It's just an odd duck of a film. This,
It
isn't
really
it?
is an odd duck of a film, isn't it? Because like John was saying, you think you've got the weird fucking Fight Club-esque bit within it, and you've got like the food market that seems to be like fucking like some kind of underground. What's that fucking place that they go to in? You've got it in Star Wars has one. Guardians of the Galaxy has one. Pirates of the Caribbean has one. Where it's that, what is it? Fucking Hellboy has one.
Yeah. Like a black market.
Like a black market thing, and it's basically just a food market.
With the Fight Club thing, I reckon absolutely the person that wrote this has worked in hospitality in the past, and it is wish fulfillment.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah. But then you've got these wonderful moments of kind of like of almost prophetic poetry within it. They did a scene of where he basically says, "I remember you. You know, you wanted to open a pub.
Yeah.
Is this what you wanted to fucking do?"
He sees into people, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's got that, and the weirdness of having the chapters, of having it chaptered, but the chapters making zero fucking sense, and then just getting a plan.
It's the food that gets cooked in the chapter.
It is, but it's also not.
I want to try that fucking mushroom tart out of the first bit.
Well, then there's the second one is something that doesn't even get cooked.
It does. Mum's French toast.
Mum's French toast. He doesn't. What is it? But then there's also the deconstructed scallop.
Yeah, which is what they get served at the.
Is that it? I missed that bit then. That's fine. But yeah, it really is an odd film, but it works.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped in there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're kind of saying what I was thinking, to be honest. It's the world building that it does, but then it's just like matter of fact, you know. It did have echoes of the Continental in John Wick, you know. I mean, obviously the plot is very John Wicky, but the whole kind of like with John Wick Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, they kind of explain the world a bit more. But with John Wick, you are just kind of chucked into it, and you kind of get it, but you don't get that explanation. And this does feel like that, but like Cage is just quiet and restrained, and like I mean, I thought that scene with that chef was fucking extraordinary. I think the chef maybe overplays it a little bit much, if I'm honest, and I think that might be in the direction, but. And I don't know whether even they were maybe going for a little bit of trying to be comedic with his reactions, maybe. But the way Cage is so still and just says these things, but is just looking at the guy and doesn't even seem to be blinking. It's just fucking looking at him. And that whole kind of the. You know, yes, all right, you've achieved a high level in this thing, but it's still not what you actually want to do. And imagine with the skill you have, imagine what you could be doing if you were actually putting it to something that you actually wanted to do. Is I mean that's it's almost like a short film in itself. That bit.
It's a little bit is like you said. There's a bit the bit just before it summarizes it up perfectly well, where you have the girl explaining the whole process and things like that. So we've been to a restaurant very similar to that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where that happened, and it was very nice, wasn't it?
Yes.
However, what did we do afterwards, Rebecca?
Went to Spark and had some. Food.
Yeah, we did.
I think maybe a pizza.
And a pizza. And so it was basically it feels like somebody was written by somebody who has worked in that industry and wants to essentially go, look, the technical aspects of this and all that lot is impressive, but it's bollocks.
Yeah, it's I feel annoyed that I'm a little bit removed from Pig at this point, but that scene really did stand out, and Yeah, I kind of want to see Pig 2 chicken.
Where Nick Cage gets a chicken and he just lays eggs and he just makes awesome fucking what is it? And then someone just fucking runs it over or something like that, and he just goes mad again.
Now this time he's trying to get rid of the chicken, but no one will take it.
Yeah, this chicken shit. What is it? And at the end of it, he just kind of it literally snaps his neck, and the next thing he's making a really nice fucking like chicken noodle soup or something like that.
No, what the twist will be, there will be some sort of reveal where the chicken was trying to tell him all along that the chicken was the reincarnated soul of the pig.
Oh. Oh, that bit's awful though, where it's like they were just too rough with her.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh, in all seriousness, I don't want to. I don't want to eat that pig. I want to give that pig a hug. Like that. Yeah, that bit is fucking. Like between that and the moss-covered robot in Castle in the Sky.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it's even like as soon as like the pig abduction happens, like in my mind I was like, okay, we're going to spend the next 20 minutes trying to find the people who stole the pig, and within like 4 minutes we've turned up. We've turned up at like this shanty place, and somebody said he stole my pig, and she goes off and finds him within a second. It's just like, okay, well, that's that plot point ticked off. What we're doing next?
Yeah. Wasn't the film I expected it to be, actually. I expected it to be a bit more. I was concerned it would be a bit like what people have been saying, which is it's John Wick with a pig. And it's not. It's quite understated, isn't it?
I
like that about it.
I'm glad I'd heard that somebody say for people who are expecting Nick Cage does John Wick, but it's a pig. It's not that at all. This is a much more somber piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit. I've got to put a poll out.
Silly sausage.
Because I'm an idiot.
Definitely not shit for me. I really loved it, actually.
Yeah, definitely not shit for me as well.
Yeah, pretty solid week, you know. Sorry?
Nick Cage for the win again.
Hell yeah. We've got Prisoners of the Ghostland next week.
Woo!
It continues. Right. Questions.
We have one. Rick Kidd at Rick J. Kidd. With Netflix announcing an interactive film where characters have to escape WWE star The Undertaker's haunted mansion, if you were making an interactive film, whose mansion would you choose for the characters to try escaping from, and what predicaments would they face?
David Lynch's mansion. All of them. All the predicaments.
The first predicament is, why doesn't this door have a fucking handle? Why doesn't the fucking door have a handle? Every time you push it, your arm just goes through it. Yeah. Why is there a fucking cloth?
Why is my face not my face anymore? Why is there a fetus in a cot?
This is fucking weird. Oh great, it's a fucking sandworm now.
Steam's here, it's all going wrong.
Is it really bad that my first thought was Bill Cosby's mansion and what you have to get out is you've got different levels of different strength of tranquilizer you're trying to get out.
Bloody hell.
Loads of sweaters. Just loads of fucking sweaters.
Is it like the Nando's roulette wheel? You have to spin it and it depends what is the strength of tranquilizer.
It's like I'm just thinking of like a POV where, do you know in POV games when you sort of swing from side to side, and it's like you take one, it's a little bit worse, and you take another, it just gets to the point where you're there. Sorry, that's really dark.
I enjoy that. I was just thinking, like, you go through, like, he basically gives you the choice of either, oh god, I don't think I should say this actually. No, do you know what?
Say it now.
No. It gives you the choice of either being injected with something that will make you numb but conscious while he does things to you, but he won't leave any bruises, or a thing where you will sleep through the entire thing but he can't promise how many bruises will be on you afterwards.
This episode got so dark.
I was just gonna say that. Fucking hell. Is the junior version like the Michael Jackson mansion then?
Yeah, that's for the kids.
The junior experience, yeah. You know, for kids.
For kids. Go to fucking Neverland and drink some Jesus juice. And hope you come out with a £20 million payout.
My answer would be Julie Gianni from Vanilla Sky's mansion. Will you be turned on? Will you be murdered?
I go there.
Will it be both? Who's to say?
Mine's Willem Dafoe's mansion. It's just a collection of random Willem Dafoe characters, and every time you get in, you've got to answer a series of questions posed to you by that character. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine fucking opening a fucking door and thinking, we're finally out, and fucking Bobby Peru's there with some tights over his face just laughing at you?
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's what I go for.
Or you could go to Wes Craven's, not Wes Craven's, Wes Anderson's, and it's just like a big game of Mousetrap.
Stop it, John. You've already won.
I've got a question, actually.
Go
on. Actually, it's one for you, and it's one for your listeners. And if anybody has any answers, do at me on Twitter at Jordan McGrath. Right. Where do people find podcasts now? As in ones that aren't featured on Apple Podcasts or your podcatchers. Like back in the day, you could actually scroll down like an index of podcasts.
Yeah.
You can't really do that anymore. Is there an index out there that you can do? I mean, I know
it's one of those things. If it's not a premium content one, so it's not like it's not one that is trying to be pushed and has a budget, has a big budget for each episode. It's quite hard to find. Social media, still, I still think it's a big thing for it.
But that's it. But the thing, even with social media, you're trying to find things. Yeah. You're trying to find something that you sort of know. Whereas you used to be able to just fall across a few podcasts that you would never have done so by just clicking and saying, "I'll listen to an episode of that." Whereas you don't really get that anymore.
I think how I started to come across a few more is I literally went through my my Twitter following list and deleted a lot of the crap. And it changed my algorithm up a little bit, and that kind of helped a little bit there. But I mean, I think I have like a staple of podcasts that I listen to, and when I get to like a new podcast, what I'll do is I'll try and mainline like 4 or 5 episodes in a day, and that usually can either decide whether or not it's going to have me or I'm just not going to bother with it.
That might be something I need to do. But yeah, I just thought I'd ask a question of saying, like, where do people find new shit? Really, that isn't a part of the Ringer or part of some other huge network. But no, it's all right. By the way, I've got my choice. If you want my film choice for next week for the retro review.
Yep.
Yes, please.
I was going to do Holy Motors, but I think somebody said they'd watched it recently. So going off a bit of a Shang-Chi influence, my choice is 2002's Yimou Zhang's Hero.
Nice.
I
give that another watch.
Mine?
Go on, Bex.
Lost Highway.
Ooh. Sweet.
Sure.
Have Ian picked yet? I was in the bathroom.
No.
Come on, Ian, what are we watching?
Ian picked.
I sincerely hope that we do not watch Summer of Sam.
Oh, I like Summer of Sam, though. The one with John
Leguizamo.
Yeah, John Leguizamo was in that as well.
I watched that really recently, though.
No, you didn't. You watched half of it.
Watched half of it,
yeah. You said that, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Dennis Hopper's movie, The Hot Spot.
Okay.
Always pick
Very
such
good.
random shit.
What? Don Johnson, Virginia Marsden, a very young Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
Yep.
How young?
She's like 19.
Oh, so not inappropriately young. Ian would be alright.
There's a lot of booze in it.
Yeah, but she's 19. I can deal with
Virginia
it.
Marsden is just really fucking horny for Don Johnson in it.
Sorry, can I just clarify? Virginia Marsden or Virginia Madsen?
Madsen, sorry, I keep saying that.
That's
I'll
fine.
do that.
I didn't know if it's like another person.
No, it's not the same person.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun, people. I'm going to sell it here, and then you realise that no one's voted for it again.
Oh. See, I was going to go with Videodrome.
No, you can't go to
For Ian.
Videodrome because he will rightly veto it.
I said last week, I think, veto. Tell you what, you can do Videodrome if you want. I just won't watch it. You two can talk about it.
Yeah, but why don't we just watch Videodrome? What we've been watching?
Because I haven't got a reason to force you if we're not watching it for the podcast.
I don't need to be forced to watch Videodrome.
Okay.
You should just watch Naked Lunch instead.
No. Can we watch Escape from New York?
We might watch Escape from New York.
Yay! We'll just follow along in Ian's like
Yeah.
Carpenter-thon.
That's the way. Follow in my wake. So coming up next week, we are, as we touched upon earlier on, we are going to be talking about Malignant and Cop Shop.
Yes.
And I think if we've only got the two main reviews, shall we get Breaking Dawn Part 1 done? I watched it 2 weeks ago, so you guys are probably going to have to do the heavy lifting on this.
You've got to rewatch it.
Fuck off.
Experience that misogyny all over again.
Fuck off, I'm not doing that.
There is a film on Netflix that dropped, which nobody's talked about whatsoever. And I've got yeah. It's
Yeah,
Keaton,
I need to.
It's Tucci. I can't wait to watch that.
What's this one, sorry?
Worth. It's about the or is it like some sort of legal battle regarding somebody has to find out a figure of what to give the families of the victims of 9/11.
Oh, okay. Michael Keaton one.
Michael Keaton, Stanley Tucci.
Add to list. There we go.
I also there's a new movie on Star on Disney Star.
What is it?
It's the John Cena one.
Holiday Friends.
Yeah.
I'm not watching Vacation
Holiday Friends.
I'm watching Vacation Friends.
All right, you can watch that.
It looks fucking brilliant.
I'm not as big of a John Cena fan as you are.
John Cena's a comedic genius.
Okay. So we're doing Malignant, Cop Shop, Summer of Sam, and Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Cool.
Very good. Okay, so Jord, thank you ever so much for joining us today, sir. Where can people listen to more of your lovely voice?
You can go to His Film Her Movie, go hisfilmhermovie.com. You've got everything that you need, all the links to Discord. We should get that back up and running, all the links to Twitter, Facebook, everything. We are going to start properly recording again next week. We've took it impromptu, like maybe 6 weeks off. It wasn't planned, but it just seems to have, life's got in the way a little bit too much. People working, people going traveling, things like that. But we'll be back. And other than that, just go on Twitter at Jord McGrath. But to be honest, most of the people who listen to this probably follow me anyhow.
And so they should. So we did the preamble earlier. So I will just say, follow come. There's too much of it. It's kind of just doesn't really mean anything anymore. Used to.
Good night. It's come used to mean something.
When I swallow cum, my body doesn't make a promise anymore. It just goes, yeah, all right, that's fine. Is there more coming? Cool.
Man goes, it's Tuesday again then.
Good night.
Bye.
Nice. But by the way, I said doesn't have to be part of the show, but he's.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.